Hold on a second. Hey, everybody. It is GameHounds. How you doing? Today is July 19th, 2020. We are here with GameHounds Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe us so you can catch us every single week. Don't forget to do the notification so that you get the little bling bling that says we have gone live. How is everybody doing? We got Nick. We got Andrew. We got me, Edie Sellers. We're all good. And to answer to your question, to your story, I got it, and I did not read it yet. I will read it hopefully
Just want to make
today,
sure
if
you
not
got
tomorrow. Yeah, I got it.
it. Okay, cool.
So yeah, we're still prepping for the shoe. I really should type out my own stuff for the show, shouldn't I? Because when I do, I am happier, and when I don't, I am not as happy. Light week for news. I mean, it's not really light. There's a lot out there. It's just kind of the news that's out there is fairly light. It's not a lot of, like big heavy topics or, super.
Oh yeah, I can really find a whole lot today. Can I vote for like a 30-minute segment of the podcast where we just take a nap? I would enjoy this.
I am all about it not being a 3-hour show.
You can do that after the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the 3-hour show. I think that's a bit long. I think it's a little self-indulgent, i.e., masturbatory. I think that we could definitely for my news donation, AC Wraith says I have a link for watching Henry Cavill building his PC that doesn't require signing into Instagram. You're welcome.
Yes, I watched that too.
That's pretty much everywhere.
An actor builds a PC.
Oh, a great actor.
A great actor.
Specifically him, who's known to
Yes.
be like a giant dork at heart.
Right. Yeah, if we can not make it a 3-hour show, keep it in the low 2 hours, I would be thrilled.
That's not my fault.
Sort of is. Says the man who said, I wanted to make it hit 3 hours last week, and we hit it at 3 hours exactly.
Okay. But that was because we were so close. At that point, it was just working for achievement. That's it.
No, there is no achievement. It's people stop
I don't
watching
know.
after a while.
I saw something pop. I had a little achievement, a little bleep
Bling.
Yeah.
across my vision.
StreamYard
Everybody that
achievement.
sat with us for three whole hours gets the achievement.
AC Wraith. I just have to admire his commitment to like keep posting links even after we've gone on longer than we should have.
Yes, I know. AC Wraith really is the fourth chair. With that and M-Hawk. Absolutely. I consider them part of the team. They work way harder than we do. Particularly AC. But yeah, both of them work way harder at this than we do. If we made any money, I would absolutely pay them way before any of us got paid. Because they're actually working.
Yeah.
So yeah. What is up, people? How is your week so far?
Been pretty good. I've been trying to get through at least a couple single player games that I've been working on. Because I always let those go by the wayside in favor.
Don't talk about them yet because we haven't started the show.
No, but just that's all I've been doing. That and working.
Yeah, I've got I have been given. So my company has this program that when people are idle, they can kind of sign up to like say, hey, I have some extra time. My job is not like right now. I'm not super busy. Got a little idle time at work. If any other department has something going on that they need like an extra hand, we will be that extra hand for you. I've got extra hands. And I signed up for it because, as a receptionist, Normally I would be at a desk greeting people. I have not been at a desk greeting people. I have been answering phones, and the phone volume is pretty low right now. So, yeah, there were a lot of times when I'm just literally sitting in front of the screen going, I feel bad watching any more YouTube videos on my on the clock right now. So, of course, I signed up for it. And I accepted the job of not realizing what it was. And it's covering for somebody who's going on maternity leave, which is kind of not the point of this particular program. It's not supposed to cover people when they go out, when they go off of work for any period of time. It's for little things like, hey, I need somebody like once a week to fill in these spreadsheets for me right now because
you're not taking on an entire new job.
We're not taking on a new job. Yeah. But I sort of took it, and I'm a new employee. I'm like, I'll do it. I can do it. No problem. And then I got into it, and it is incredibly big, incredibly detailed, and incredibly complicated. Like unbelievably inefficient and complicated. Like unbelievable.
Can you back out? Just be like,
no,
made a mistake.
Nope, I couldn't. By the time I realized what a nightmare it is, I was like,
you were committed?
About 4 weeks into the training when I realized, what the fuck? This is an 8-hour job that I'm supposed to be doing on top of all of my other jobs. So, and of course, we're in the middle of a business crunch, so no overtime. Everybody's instructed no overtime. So it's not like I can get overtime for any of this shit. So yeah. And I don't understand it very well. It was kind of not explained to me very well. And she went out on maternity leave on Friday. So
you can't even ask her questions? Mm-mm. Can you ask anyone else questions?
Yeah, there's other people that I can ask questions.
Okay. How long is she gone for?
Till Thanksgiving.
Oh, so quite a ways.
Yeah.
By the end of this, though, Edie, you'll have a new hat that you can just be like, "Hey, I did this."
So,
either
do you
one
have
of
to
two
do it
things
all yourself, or is it part of a project?
It's a support person for an entire department.
Oh. Yeah, then in that case, just half-ass it. Because
I'm not going to half-ass it.
But that's the thing. That's all you can do, right?
Right. I can only do
that's all
as
you can
good
do.
as I can do.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm going to do.
Is basically just, I'll do this in my spare time, and if you have a problem with it, fuck you. Maybe hire someone else on a temporary basis instead of trying to pawn it off on an existing employee. You cheapskate motherfucker.
Yeah, a little bit of that. But I understand where they're at, and I agreed to it. And it was only until quite a ways into training that I realized that this was probably going to be a horrible
agreed to
mistake.
Something that they probably shouldn't have been offering in the first place. It's them abusing an existing system so they don't have to pay someone else. In that case, it's like,
I couldn't possibly agree with that.
So yeah, I say essentially half-ass it in that work on it.
I'm not going to half-ass it.
No.
I'm going to do my very best, and if things get messed up, I will deal with the mess-ups. And at the end of this, one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to offer me a job in this department, or they're going to complain that I screwed it up, and my existing boss would be like, you didn't ask for something reasonable, and you were warned
by half-ass it,
she's going to do her best. She did her best.
Yeah, by half-assed, I mean do it on your time off, like you would for a temporary, 20-hour-a-week part-time job. Treat it like a part-time job, because that's what it is. That's what it should be.
Treat it like a side gig.
Exactly, because treating it anymore is giving it more respect than it deserves.
I definitely deserves respect. I don't half-ass jobs. As someone who has sat here for how many years doing this show once a week, When I commit to something, I commit with a capital C.
But then,
I
like,
marry the fucking thing.
you're just gonna end up working on weekends and doing an 8-hour job on your
Oh,
time
no.
off.
That I won't do. I will not work on a weekend or do it on my time off. No.
This is why Edie always ends up in like a manager position or like in charge of people because she just keeps accepting things
Yeah.
until it's just like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
And then I just collapse. Well, this is also why I one of my rules. I don't work, and everyone should have this rule. You do not work when you're not being paid. You want me to work, you pay me. I do not work without being paid. And if I have to go a minute into overtime, it better be paid overtime. And if it's not paid overtime, then you're not getting it from me. And I can only do what I can do. That's what it comes down to, is I can only do what I can do in my 8 hours a day.
Yeah, and at that point, if they're asking you to do that and they want to get rid of you because you won't do free overtime, they're going to lose a good employee.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean, no company should ask you to do free overtime.
Mm.
Ever. I have been that person who has done free overtime, and guess what? You never get credit for it. Nobody who asks you to do free overtime has ever been, thank you, you saved the company. Now we're going to treat you well.
it's I saved the company.
Right.
You should treat me well.
Right. You're just disposal. The less you respect your own time and your own value, the less your company will respect your own value. I mean, it's kind of opposite of what you would think. It's like if you get somebody who's incredibly talented and doesn't know that they're talented or is very humble about being talented, inevitably, you what should happen is that company should be like, this person needs to be treated so well because to replace this person would cost us so much more money. Really care for this person. Do everything you can to keep this person in the company. But that is not how business works.
It's a social thing.
Right, it is a social thing. Is if you don't draw a line and you do underestimate your value and undervalue yourself, the more a company will take advantage of you. Essentially, the less the company will value. The company will value you exactly how much you value yourself. All right, so that's my rant for the day. Shall we, are we ready to start the show? AC Ray says I got summoned to buy a robot named Fight. He got his first ending a couple of days ago. I was so proud. Meanwhile, I
Finally
started
got
playing
an
again.
ending?
And I'm two.
Oh, I got someone to buy. Okay.
For 2 in victories. So I really have to look up this robot named Fight. AC Wraith absolutely
It's
freaking
okay.
loves this game.
Have you played the original Metroid game?
Mm-mm.
It's a lot like
came
that.
out in a time I was not a gamer.
I mean, I didn't play it either, but it's a lot like that.
Should we start the show? Because, I mean, I've got my news. We've been futzing around for 20 minutes. Everybody else ready to go? Anything we want to talk about before we start the show?
No.
Okay. All right, Nick. Give me some waveforms, baby.
Blah, 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 blah.
Good. Andrew, give me some waveforms.
I don't know what to say.
Good.
No, okay.
Let me make sure my mic is the correct audio. Yes. Can you hear this, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a way to make sure that it's coming through here instead of coming up through the internal camera. I mean, I know that I could see it on the screen that it was going to the right place, but you never really know until you hear it. Oh, no, that's not how it's done. I have to check it on YouTube. Because you're hearing the feed coming through this mic no matter what. All right, I am on here and I'm talking, watching myself in delay. On here and I'm talking. Okay, there we go. We're good. All right. So let's do this. Oh, yeah. Thanks for the reminder. Patreon. If you are not a Patreon subscriber, please subscribe to us. Patreon.com/GameHounds. This whole video feed is supported and funded by our listeners. You allow us to expand our... I mean, if it wasn't for you, this feed wouldn't exist. So thank you to our current subscribers. You are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you would like to be a subscriber, all we're asking is $1 a month. And that keeps this video feed going. I am almost up to enough money to be able to buy an annual subscription so that it will be able to be less expensive, which is great. But it is... it's not insubstantial to buy a full year's worth of subscription, especially when you're paying the monthly subscription. So as it goes down, it's like up and down, up and down, up and down. So $1, if you listen to the show, have been listening to the show, it's all we ask. No obligation, but if you could do it, we would certainly appreciate it. All right, let me put you on mute and start the regular show. Oh, that's right. I have to copy paste everything. Did you guys do anything fun this weekend?
What?
I work, so no, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I played games, watched TV.
Yeah, we played late last night. We will talk about that.
We need to get
tonight.
like 2 other hosts tomorrow or next week when we have the 555th podcast with 5 hosts. We need to make it a thing.
Put AC Wraith.
5.
Can we do AC Wraith and M Hawk in here so we could have all 5 people that make this show
Yes.
possible?
5 for 555.
No, that is so much work for me to do.
It'd be great. Just saying.
I mean, it's wonderful ideas, but God, the amount of work that would be to get everybody. I mean, one thing if I could just call them up and say, all right, here, but it's like, I know I am going to, for AC Wraith and for M Hawk, it would be I would have to walk them through the technology all the time, the whole ways. So that doesn't, not complaining. I would totally do that, but I don't have any time to do that. All right. Are you ready to go live, gentlemen?
Yeah.
All right. Going live.
Discusses video games, modern culture, and technology. And these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
All right. Mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode, what is it? 554. We are recording this on Sunday, July 19th, 2020. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola and Andrew Smith, and we are back once again bringing you news, views, commentary, complaints, random errata, totally useless information. That's what we do here on GameHounds. Mm-hmm. If you ever want to get a hold of us, you know our email, gamehounds@gmail.com, and our website is gamehounds.net. Nick, Andrew, how are you? How's things?
Good. It's been
Good. Tired again. I want to take a nap, but
Why are you so tired?
I may have only gotten 5 hours of sleep like every night for the last 3 nights, but that's just me.
Why? Are you playing something, or are
I make horrible decisions. That's all.
Okay. Like staying up till 4 a.m.
your own
to
damn
play
fault.
games.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is my fault. I'm not blaming anyone else but myself. But yes,
even though Nick and I were gaming until 3:30 this morning, I got 2 full days where I did not get woken up on the weekend.
No Ralph?
By Ralph or Chatty Cathy.
Oh.
Ralph, I think he's noticing now because now I've gotten to just like yelling whenever he wakes me up of going, "Good morning, Ralph." As I'm lying in bed. I think he's noticing because I notice he goes in. He hasn't closed his bedroom bathroom window yet. But I have heard him go in there and he opens up the toilet, and instead of shouting into the toilet, he just kind of like coughs into the toilet. Like he's trying to tone it down rather than close the window so no one can hear him. He's actually just puking quieter, which is
really want to know what's going on with Ralph that he would puke every morning. Like, that's a lot of puke.
That's a lot of throwing up.
Even if you're like desperately, dangerously sick, like that's a lot.
That'll mess up your throat. Like
it'll mess up your throat. Like, how do you? You're not even digesting the things you eat if you're vomiting that much. Like, you're not getting the proper nutrients.
I don't. Sorry.
What is going
swallowed
on?
wrong?
Yeah, you're doing your best Ralph impression.
I think Ralph.
You okay?
Yeah, I just swallowed some water wrong. I think
oxygen in.
I think Ralph is either forcing himself to throw up, which means he might have a eating disorder, or he's got some kind of disease. Either that. Now, granted, I do not hear Ralph throwing up every day during the week. I will occasionally get woken up by him in the morning, and then I'm sure some mornings I am working or I'm up, so I don't hear him because I only hear him when I'm lying in bed.
Okay.
The other thing I'm wondering is maybe Ralph's an alcoholic. Because I do notice that Ralph tends to puke every Saturday morning and every Sunday morning. And like I said, that might just be a function of me not noticing on weekdays. But every Saturday and every Sunday, Ralph usually has a visit. And so, that's the thing I thought. I'm like, is he an alcoholic? That he just like drinks until he throws up? And then why would it be at 7:30, between 7:30 and 7:45 every time? That tells me he's not sick. It tells me planned. Like, this is my thing that I do. I don't know. We are talking way too much about Ralph. Uh-oh. And we lost Nick. Nick has just dropped from stream. I was wondering why he was so quiet.
Oh, he just sent a message.
He did?
Yeah, power went out.
Power went out and came back on. Oh. Yeah, I've been noticing that we've been getting little blurps. He has to get himself a USB. Well, he'd still drop if that was the case. So, how is the chat room doing? Who we got in the chat room today? We have Bitters Plus, who is the winner of the chat room with Hey Everybody. We got AC Wraith, of course, as usual, every week providing us the links for whatever we talked about. And he did actually provide a link that if you were interested in watching Henry Cavill building his PC on Instagram, there is a feed that will allow you to watch it without seeing it on Instagram, without actually having to sign into Instagram. It is through the Nerdist, and he has provided a link, which I am showing right here, right now. The last podcast update on Twitter was April 12th. All right, apparently I have to I don't know why Twitter requires you to renew your leases all the time, but freaking I have to renew the lease. And there is the direct line for the Instagram for Henry Cavill.
I hear it's good. Like, it's really good. Like, he's making mistakes and he didn't edit anything out. So you're just watching him do, like, normal things everyone screws up as he's doing it. And he's, like, reading the manual, figuring out how to do it the long way. And
at least he's not putting the heat sink material on the pins. I did that once.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. My first PC that I built, I did that. Oh, no. What?
Nothing.
It makes sense if you don't understand what it is. I just figured it was something that improved conductivity. I did not realize that it was heatsink material that's supposed to go between the chip and the heatsink. So yeah, no, I did that. That was a mistake you only make once.
I mean, that I don't know. That's worrisome. Like that pretty much destroys the CPU.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
no, CPU's done. Yeah, done. Yeah, no, you have to get a new CPU.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had no help, and I was reading a step-by-step guide, and having done it, this was in the era before YouTube. So there was no like pictures or anything. It was you're reading a book and you do it.
So it's like apply thermal paste. Not really how, just
Apply thermal paste. Exactly. Apply thermal paste. And you're like, okay. And it's like apply thermal paste. And then it was like, as soon as you I plugged it in. I plugged it in too. And it was great. So I actually fucked up the board as well. So I plugged it in. And then it was like, okay, then you put the heat sink on, attach the fan and everything
of course
onto
thermal
and it's
paste.
like put it to the thermal paste. I'm like, what do you mean to put it on the thermal paste? The thermal paste I couldn't, and then I realized what I had done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's something to say that that is another reason why YouTube should exist.
Yeah,
Because you can actually see people do these things and know which side of the CPU to put the thermal paste on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an expensive lesson, but one I will never do again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you do, it's how you learn from it. We have not got Nick back. Is the power back yet? Oh, there he is. He just came back. I was just about to text you, dude, just to see if the power had come up.
Oh yeah, it went down for literally half a second, just long enough for everything to go down. Because my light blinked off, the computer blinked off, then the light came back on. And it was like, you motherfuckers, you're just trying to get in the way.
Do you not have a UPS?
UPS? The postal service?
backup power supply. Universal power supply. It's a big
Guess not.
box. Everybody should have a UPS. Without question.
I have a surge protector, but that's
different. That's different. UPS is a big block of batteries. And you plug all your electronic equipment into it and then leave it on all the time. And you plug power into the back of the UPS, plug all of your electronics and computers and everything into the front of it, right? And it charges while it's passing through the power to your supply during regular operations. And if the power goes off, it sounds an alarm and it gives you like 10 minutes of backup power. So it creates an uninterrupted power supply when things go down and come back up. We've had it on the show where you've heard something go beep, 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 and then stop. It's because we had either a brownout or a blackout, like a little burp in the system, and everything shut down. And all like this computer, the only thing that would get fucked up is the router. Because the router would restart, but the computer would be safe. And all of my, if I was working on something, I would have enough time to be able to save what I'm working and not lose power and lose everything I'm working on. Also allows you to be able to have enough time to shut everything down safely so you don't fuck it all up.
I have to admit, though, that Nick, sometimes you don't move long enough that, like...
It's hard to know if you're frozen or not.
Yeah, like, I didn't even know until you just... Yeah, exactly. That's really good.
You do. You have a mannequin face. You very much do, Nick. Oh, God. All we need to do is paint you silver and put you down at Fisherman's Wharf and we can earn money off of you.
No, yeah.
You totally be a human statue.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I could try that.
All right. So, shall we talk about what we've been doing for gaming?
Yeah.
Sure.
Who wants to go first? Y'all know what I've been doing. ESO. I am about. Damn it. Corey fucking Wallace. God damn you, Corey goddamn mother fucking Wallace. He told me, or no, was it Peter? Was it Peter who told me? One of them told me that if you buy the new, was it Eldmore, Witchmore, whatever it is,
Elsewhere?
Elsewhere, whatever. No, is that the new DLC?
I think that's.
The new
Oh,
game?
maybe it's Greymore?
Greymore, that's it. The new
Okay.
game. You get all of the past DLC. And that's tempting to me. I did not know that like all of the other guilds and everything. Now, I have some DLC that I've already purchased. Like I've bought the Brotherhood and I bought the Dark Brotherhood. I bought the Thieves Guild. I bought Somerset and oh, no. That wasn't what it was. It was Corey motherfucking Wallace telling me that there are 2 more skill lines that they add. One of them being is that you can see chests wherever you walk. Like chests pop up. So you get an alert that it's a skill that you can purchase if you have the new game in a new skill line. That it actually alerts you where chests are. Because, chests are very hard to find. You usually just like, oh, shit, there's a chest here. In the new game, God damn it, I'm going to end up fucking buying that thing. God, fuck!
You can see how happy Edie is for starting ESO again.
Corey, God damn it!
Clearly.
Shit. But I'm going to end up buying it. Because the more I get into this game, the more I remember how much I love this game. Fuck. So yes, that's what. Fuck you. He's in the chat room and says you're welcome. So yeah, I'm probably gonna end up getting it too. But Nick has finally launched the main story, and I had to pull him away from other areas. And
So
good for you. You finally got into the idea of you have to go to other areas and seeing stuff around and the main mission. It's the main story isn't something you start and then you keep going until you end. It keeps revisiting you every 10. It encourages you. It wants you to go do side quests.
And yeah, that's what made me more willing to do it, is when you said that a main story quest only pops like every 10 levels or so.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not this idea that, oh, I'm going to add another permanent, basically a quest thing that's going to be permanently in my queue that I'll always have to look at.
No. And on top of that, I mean, it's a very clever design for the game. If you think about the base game, not about all of the, think about it from like I bought the base game.
Oh, he says 5 levels. That makes sense. That's why so
every
many
5
will
levels.
pop
I'm
in.
sorry, every
Okay.
5 levels. Yeah, so you've got quite a few to do before you actually catch up, since you're starting in that place at level 26. But once you get through those, what was it? Every 5 levels, so that's going to be 5 missions. Then once you get to the end of those 5 missions, then you're going to, it's just every 5 levels that you will get a pop and saying, hey, continue the main story now. And it's because it is a game. I mean, they know that people play this game much like you do, and also much like I do, which is 2 different ways of doing it. Of when you finished an area or you're kind of bored for quests, just run in a direction. You will come across a new series of quests, and it wants you to do that. World exploration is the whole point of this. So if you had a main story quest line that didn't encourage you for world exploration or give you the freedom for it, where you could just literally blast through the whole story and stop, it would defeat the whole purpose of it being an MMO. It would just be an Elder Scrolls game. And it would also not keep people coming back. You could just blow through all 10 or let's see, 5 times 5 is 25. All you can blow through all 25 story missions, get through it, and then leave the game. And they don't want you to do that. They want you to keep going and keep exploring and keep finding things. And when you run out of things, want to buy DLC so you can find more things. So yeah, are you still there, Nick? You're just not moving. Oh, there you
I'm
go.
here.
Your
I'm here.
your eyes flicked. Oh, thank God.
I'm here. I'm reading. I'm looking through the entries on. Oh, okay. There we go. I was trying to figure out like which pack of Elder Scrolls Online includes the other things, because it's like because Corey said that Greymore includes the other ones, and then I looked at the Greymore Collector's Edition upgrade, and it's like, oh no, that doesn't say it has anything. What about the Greymore upgrade? No, that doesn't say anything. But then it's just
They are very bad with they do a lot of writing for Elder Scrolls, like Bethesda and ZeniMax do a lot of writing for them, but they do not do a very good job of conveying information.
so it looks like the Elder Scrolls Online : Greymore. That is the entry that you're looking for that includes Elsewhere, Somerset, Morrowind, and the base game. Because anything that says upgrade seems like it just includes Greymore.
Right. And
Basically, if you
know,
rebuy the game.
three of the
Mhm.
three. I already own 3 of those DLCs or those expansions. Or I should say, I guess they're really DLC. I already own 3 of those 4. I mean, I own the base game. I have Morrowind. I have. I just bought Somerset because Nick was moving so slowly, and I didn't want to wreck any of the missions that I would do, which was stupid now looking at it. But I also wanted jewelry crafting, so I bought Somerset.
How did you just buy Somerset on its own? Like, there's no PSN entry for that.
No, not through PSN. I bought it through the game. The because I had crown points already.
Okay.
I had something like 10,000 crown points that were saved up from back in the day when I had ESO Plus. So technically, I didn't buy it. They bought it for me.
Well, you bought it on like
Time.
leeway.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So it's
Gotcha.
like, yeah, it's all just kind of sitting there. It was sitting there, and then I think I'm down to now. I think I've got 2,000 or 3,000 points left after buying you a pet and buying a couple other things. Because why not? I bought a merchant. I mean, useful things. No, I would never buy horse armor. Fuck that. Certainly not from the company that fucking invented horse armor.
what if it looked really cool?
You know what?
Yeah,
Nothing's gonna look
that's
more
a strong
cool.
argument.
Perry the horse that we met in the Elsewhere prologue quest. It's another kind of cool thing is that we did a prologue quest right before we went to bed last night. Each of the DLCs that has what they call a prologue quest that is free and available to anyone. And it's a bit like a taster, a little demo of or an entry level. It's kind of like the beginning story of the DLC. So, and it's more than just a trailer and something superficial. I mean, it took Nick and Peter and I, like an hour of running through it. And that was a fucking speed run that we did. So you're going into 3 different dungeons, and it was just actually really, really cool. It felt very substantial.
Nick, you still here?
Nick is frozen now again.
Okay, it's up in the air.
We have got to put something moving in his background, like one of those little like those cats, those Chinese moving cats, so that we know when he's frozen. Either that or he's doing a really good job of faking
tell.
it out. Yeah, no, I think he's frozen. Nick, are you
Okay.
frozen or are you just you?
Okay,
nope,
there it is.
there we go. He popped out. All right. So let's start with you, Andrew. What games have you been doing?
All right, so I've dipped my toes back in some old stuff like For Honor. I played a few rounds of that, and I tried to get back into that. That game's always fun. If you haven't played it before, it's it's kind of like a fighting game, a 3D fighting game, where you kind of, depending on your class, most of them, you kind of use your joystick to go left, right, or up to defend yourself. There's combos and timing. It is a fighting game,
What game
and
is
it's
this?
really unique. For Honor.
Oh. Oh yeah. I mean, I remember playing For Honor when it first came out. I believe was it the demo? I really liked the demo. But I didn't buy the game, and then I was glad I didn't buy the game. Or maybe I did buy the game and I was pissed. I can't remember.
I don't think you bought the game. Because I do actually end up owning it, so if you ever want to download that, you can. Not that you'd be into For Honor, but
No, now I wouldn't be into
they've
it.
done a lot. Uplay does support its games for a while, so they've been putting content into it. I think it has a pretty stable player base right now, and they're making new characters for it. It's fun. It's way better than when it first started, because when it first started, it had a weird peer-to-peer lobby system. Not like with normal like player hosting. Everyone connects to one person. That gives someone usually a host advantage, where their ping's going to be lower just because everyone's connecting to them.
Right.
What they had was like a system where no one was necessarily the host. Everyone was kind of the host at the same time. And what would end up happening is if one person left or two people left, it just crashed the game because the server couldn't handle, like, the player hosted server couldn't handle people leaving that quickly. And it was just terrible. Constant disconnects, but now it's hosted stuff. It's they have their own servers, and I forget what it's called. It's escaping me.
Did I play this with you? I think I actually played this with you and with Nick.
There was a beta.
Yeah, in the beta.
You definitely could have. Like with a lot of games, especially like this, there is a high skill cap. And watching people who've played it for like 2,500 hours is insane and honestly pretty fun. And I just wanted to get back into it and try it again. And yeah, it's still good. I enjoyed this game, and it's very, very unique. Like, I don't think there's another game quite like this.
Yeah, that's not in multiplayer. I mean, that was kind of, I realized that is when I played Kingdom Come Deliverance. That was the thing I least about Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Was the unique combat system?
It was the combat, the not necessarily unique combat system, but the very detailed, very granular, blow by blow. It's complex, very complex, and it was actually more complex than this is, as I recall.
Probably what would make this more complex would probably just be the fact that it is PvP, so you have like a whole different set of skills that you'll probably have to manage.
Right.
But yeah, I could see it just being on like an attacking level more complicated.
Yep. So yeah, you went back to it. And thoughts? Because it's changed a lot since the beta.
Yeah, so on a base level, it is kind of the same. It is the same combat, but there are so many new characters that I'm unfamiliar with and that I'm playing against, so I'm constantly getting beat. I'm doing okay, because I have like the basic skills down, like parrying, guard breaking, stuff like that. But it's rough when you fight someone you don't know anything about, because they're just doing random shit and you have no idea how to stop it. But I mean, I've always been a fan of this, and I'd like to see it grow more, and it has done pretty well. Like, it's not dead.
Yeah, well, it was when it was introduced, it was, I think a lot of people, I remember going to PAX, and there were lines all the way around the PAX arena. Like the whole third floor, the lines for Honor was incredible. And then people played the beta and realized this is kind of a niche game, and it's still a niche game.
Well, I mean, the fighting genre in general has always been a niche game. The initial premise was like pretty attractive,
that's
though.
Brutal.
Oh yeah, some of them are fantastic, but like one of the executions is you pull out a giant, or the enemy pulls out a giant war horn, and you basically kick it on their head and then blow into it, and their head just pops. Uh, uh, but yeah, I mean, fighting games in general always niche. The fact that it was like samurais versus Vikings versus knights is like a gamer dream, I
Uh-huh.
guess, like a nerdy dream. So
Right.
I can see why the initial premise was well received. But it is a very high skill based game, and
Oh yeah.
you it is terrifying watching someone like I watched this guy named Faram. He's a YouTuber,
Uh-huh.
and he just does kind of like montages of him playing the characters, and he's taking on like four people at once, like impressively taking on four people at once with like every character. And yeah, fun game. I enjoy it. If you're into fighting games, you want a good skill based game, this is one to get into.
We've got Nick back on the phone.
Hi. How do I sound?
You sound like you're on the phone, but that's okay.
Okay, yeah. I know I look like cut right down the middle.
Yeah, you look like
Broad
you're in a Quentin
shadows.
Tarantino film.
No, that's not gonna work.
That's
I'll write it
worse.
down.
There we go. Yeah.
We get to see the other half of the room now, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So your power is officially out, huh?
Yeah, and it's staying out. It came back real quick last time, but not this time.
You got to stay on, Edie. I hope like your power can't go out because I cannot
all
carry
morning
this.
was fine.
Well, you couldn't carry this because I'm hosting. So if I
Yeah,
go down,
okay.
we all go down, which is why I have a universal power supply. Just saying. I mean, actually, the universal power supply wouldn't save anything because it still would.
We'll see how long the battery lasts.
Oh
plug
God,
it in.
do you not have a juice box?
Not for the iPhone.
Let me just be
Oh.
right back.
Light. Light. There's light.
So I guess you can load back in, or I mean, just stay on the phone. It'll work.
All right, this
I'll
is
stay on the
my
phone
shameless
until-
product promotion right now.
until, the computer boots
And I
up.
have shown you this because I went to when I first got this, I went to PAX, and this is what I had in my bag at all times, and it literally did not need to be charged all the way through PAX. And I use a lot of battery at PAX because, of course, I use my iPhone to record freaking everything, and of course, low battery a signal, which always, when your phone is searching, it always uses up a bunch of battery. This juice box is the best juice box I have ever had. It is the best $35 I have ever spent, and it has a fuck ton of charges on it. It's called a Charmast.
Charmast. Okay.
All right. Not only is it small enough, it's a little heavy, not bad, but it's a small box. It's got USB and micro USB, which is great. But the best thing about it, it's got a digital readout to show you how much of a charge is left in this battery.
I remember
So
that.
I know exactly when this thing is getting low, because I use it for a lot of stuff, even around the house, just especially to keep the battery conditioned. But I know at what point I don't have any more charges left, and I can actually predict and take my phone off of it to preserve it. But I've got two of these. One that I have in my emergency kit that I keep at 100% all the time, and that I regularly go in and check it to see what's it at. Is it saying 100%? Is it saying 80%? How much of the charge has gone away from it sitting there? And I'll charge it back up. Or I'll use it all the way down to 0 and then charge it back up. But this is an amazing, amazing tool. Get one of these. They're like $30, I want to say, on Amazon. Bad. It's not bad at all, and it's well worth it for moments like this. I could literally run this show off of this thing for 24 hours straight, easily.
So you guys heard it here first. Edie's going to do a live stream for 24 hours straight.
No, no, no. I'm trying to find out what it is on my my orders, see where it is, so I could like show it to you on Amazon.
Well,
but
AC
yeah.
Wraith has linked us.
Oh, he has?
Oh yeah.
Of course he has on Amazon. I'm pulling it up right now.
I just
There
want
it
to
is.
say, every time I look at the screen, I keep expecting to see a shadowy figure in my doorway.
There it is, right there. The Charmass portable charger. Well, I can't pull that off because it's just pulling it up there.
Okay, can I do this? Is this
Go-
gonna
go-
work?
yes, you
This
can.
is gonna work.
So,
I am intently watching your doorway now, just waiting for someone to show up.
yeah, there's
Edie,
a bunch of.
I should be backstage too.
Oh, you are backstage.
So you wanted 5
Ah!
This is how you can do it.
That was all bad. No, wait. Hold a second. There we go. Here we go. All right, there we go. I have muted
Oh, okay.
one of them. That was all kinds of bad.
Okay. Okay, I'll leave on the other one.
I was kind of thinking I should hop on the phone and we should get another one. We should all do that.
Yeah, we could all
No.
do that. We'd have 6 hosts.
No, we shouldn't do that. Okay, so you've got your audio coming through something else. Oh no, you got your headset up.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, you're back. Welcome.
Well, for now, we'll see how long it lasts.
Yes, there are a bunch of options for the Charmast power bank. But I would recommend the bigger number, the better. The 10,000 milliamp hours power bank is, I believe that's the one I have. Let me double check that. This one is. Does it say what it is on it?
I respect Bitter Plus's suggestion, and I agree.
Mine is the 20,800 milliamp hours. So mine is actually twice as big as the ones that they had before. But if you can get the 2,800 or 20,800 milliamp hour one, that's the shit.
I see a bunch of 2600.
2,600? I'm talking about 20,000.
Oh yeah, 26,800.
100. Yeah, that's the one. Although that's really thin. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, they're like, I'm seeing for $39. It looks like they've made them slimmer now. But yeah, definitely get bigger, better, and this freaking feature with the LED is gold. So, anyway, that was for Honor. Anything else?
Playing League of Legends, of course, and competitive games, I guess. So I have anxiety when I do the 5v5 mode, which is the standard League of Legends mode. And I have somehow put that away for non-ranked games, at least. Ranked games, no. I'll get more gray hair. But
I'm sorry, that was my bad.
wow. So for everyone at home, she put up a title that was League of Losers, so I feel attacked, and oh no, my power's going out. Let me just go ahead and but yes, I am developing myself into a one trick, which means I play one character at one spot, and it has soothed my anxiety for now, and I've been doing that.
Oh, good.
That's
a lot of fun. And then I guess 2 more. I'll make it quick.
Hold on a second. No, you keep talking about
League of Legends.
Yeah, give me a second.
Riot's still a terrible company, everyone. Like
Who?
Riot. Like,
oh yeah, they are a terrible company. I'm not really quite sure why you are supporting them.
I did see something that the new game Valorant was like one of the biggest.
Anyway, you were saying about League of Legolas?
No, I'm talking about Valorant now.
Oh,
From the
okay.
makers of League of Legolas.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
Valorant, I guess it's been huge for them. Like it's been
Valorant
really
was pretty
successful.
fun. I have played Valorant, and it's basically CS:GO with powers. Like that is exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's just
And,
interesting. Like some of those games catch on, and some of them don't, and it looks like that one did.
Well, CS:GO I think is popular enough that like any change of that formula would be pretty welcome.
Okay.
That's my guess. But yeah, I mean, League of Legends, yay, who cares? But I've been playing Ratchet and Clank, the remaster or the remake.
Really?
Yes, that is just a blast from my childhood, like a blast from the past, and it's an easy game. I'm doing it on hard, and it's not challenging all that much, like one or two boss fights. But it's a really well done game. It's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to play the new one that's going to be coming out with the PS5.
Are those old games on PS Now? Are they playable in any form?
Other than PS Now, probably not. And I'm not sure if there's. It does suck because there's no way to go back and play like the old Ratchet and Clank games. There's quite a few of them. But this one is a solid game, and if you're looking for something fun, it's kid friendly. If you have children, just kind of a fun action exploring game.
Which Ratchet and Clank is it?
Just Ratchet and Clank. I mean,
Okay.
they basically remade the first game, but it's not a one-for-one remake. They took a lot of they took the basic story and they expanded upon it.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Quark is great. He's like a superhero that's like complete narcissist, has to be the loose cannon and the action hero. And all of his lines are fantastic, and he's narrating the story as you go. So he's sometimes like makes shit up, and yeah, it's kind of a platformer. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the mainstay of it is you get a shit ton of like really wacky weapons. Like you get a grenade that you can throw that's just a disco ball that can make enemies dance. Stuff like that. A pixel shotgun that turns everything into like pixel versions of themselves as you're shooting them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a game from my childhood that I loved, and it was like $5, so I went back and I bought it and started playing. And I've been trying to get through that. Outside of that, I went back and I played some more Control. I don't know if you guys remember that game, but it's
oh yeah, that game's awesome.
Oh yeah, Nick loved that game.
It's trippy and crazy, and I'm at a point where like side missions are popping up that are time based. So I'm like, I'm off to do this thing and explore, and it's like side mission. Never mind.
Those will keep popping up.
Gonna have to just start ignoring them.
Yeah, you can totally do that. That's fine. It's just like if you want a little extra resources. But yeah, that game just had a real cool style. Some of the bosses, like some of the major bosses, can be a little frustrating, just because of how easily they kill you and because of sort of the movement involved. But just most of that game and the story and the writing and the spookiness of it and the lore, the world building, it's all so cool.
Yeah, and like I'm really excited about the destructible environment in this game. Like there's a lot of physics details. That's great.
When you get into an office and you finish a fight, it's just like desks and papers scattered all over the place.
If there's a row of desks, I will habitually throw something through all of them and make my PlayStation go, "Stop it, man! You're hurting me."
And what's funny is if you leave and come back, it resets.
Oh yeah.
So there's some supernatural janitor who's just like, oh fuck, I gotta clean all this
Motherfucker.
up.
There really is though.
Keep fucking up our desks. Better fix it
Just
again.
put the stack of paper back.
Yeah. I'll put it away again. But can you please, Karen, be more respectful of other people's things?
Oh man, completely lost it. It's a lot of fun. I love telekinesis, so that's been a blast. Just chucking things. It's way stronger than your gun if you put points into it early. just throwing stuff at people constantly. And yeah, the story's kind of great, trippy, very cinematic, and it's made by the same people who made Alan Wake. I don't know if you know that game.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
I
Years of
enjoyed that game.
waiting and moments of disappointment.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah,
that
I
game
know
was
you
great.
love that game. I did not. I was not a fan of Alan Wake.
That I will say is one of the best special edition games I've ever bought because it actually came with a book of short stories written by Alan Wake.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember playing that game kind of blind and just going into it, and it starts off as this kind of horror game where it's resource management. By the end, though, you're way stronger, at least know how to take care of everything way better, and all of it ramps up, and it's great. I thought that game had great pacing, and apparently this Control and that Alan Wake share a universe, and there's actually an Easter egg for it that's pretty hard to get, apparently, and I'm looking forward to that. Because spoilers for Alan Wake, but it's been like a decade, so get with the times.
Get over yourself.
At the end, it's kind of implied that the character that you've played as isn't really real, and he ends up becoming like a demigod of sorts in this town. And I wonder what they're going to do with that.
Oh shit!
Oh my god, I forgot what this game actually looked like.
Is Alan Wake playable on PS4?
That just made you want to play it by just looking at this?
Yeah.
Epic's games gave it away like 2 months ago, and that upsets me. Like 2 or 3 months ago.
Oh, there's rumors about a remake a year ago. Or you know what I could do? I could just fucking buy a goddamn Xbox and I could play all those 360 games that I have on disc.
You could.
It'd be cheap.
Or you could borrow mine. I've got one.
I know I have a 360. I just don't want to hook it up.
This game turned out to be a lot of fun. Just kind of going into it, and the story was pretty great.
Going back to it now, I'd probably enjoy it more. That was my first game of ever having to deal with resource management, and I hated that.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
That was fairly early on to me playing games again.
It's pretty ambitious, because it tried to do a lot with like lighting and shadows in that game.
Lighting was so cool.
Yeah, and for the time, though, no one was really messing with it just because of the requirements, the system requirements, so it was pretty great.
The effects when you zero the light in on a shadow person, how it all sparks off, like it's just... Control has a lot of that too. Like if you look closely at the videos of her lifting an object psychically and throwing it, there's interesting effects around where it hits, like this weird color bending gas almost. It's very cool.
Yeah. Oh God, AC Ray says I gave him Alan Wake a long time ago. That was a fun October. God, I totally forgot that I gave you that game. So anyway, anything else?
No, that's pretty much it for now.
Nick, you want to talk about anything?
Yeah, I have been playing AI: The Somnium Files. This is the new visual novel puzzle game from the guy that made the Zero Escape trilogy. And just like those games, it is a trippy visual novel, multiple timeline mystery. And this one is a much more straightforward mystery. I don't think that the story, unlike the Zero Escape games, the story doesn't acknowledge the timelines as part of the plot, but maybe it does. I've encountered a twist that maybe suggests there's some timeline hopping going on, but for the most part, there's a murder mystery, and the way it uses these timelines is that you kind of focus on one suspect down to the end, and usually they end up not being the case because I was going through one timeline and I hit a dead end that was like, you need to progress through the others before you can get here. So it's like, go down all the red herring endings before we'll let you get the actual ending.
Right.
But what's neat about that is that it allows the game to explore all of the characters in a way that it narratively shouldn't be able to do. Like, there's a lot of characters and it wants to get into each of their tragic backstories and a lot of their relationships. To do that in one narrative would be kind of overstuffed, but because there's multiple timelines, it works because I can focus on this one kind of college dropout fuck up otaku named Oda, and I can treat him as the main suspect through a timeline. And by the end of that timeline, I learn like a really emotionally raw story about how, you know, this fuck up is dealing with his mom who has dementia, and he just has this ocean of guilt within him because when she first started showing signs of dementia and like asking, "Hey, how is school? You know, what are you doing in school?" And he's like, "I dropped out, mom. What are you fucking doing? Why are you mocking me? Jeez, what are you?" And so he treated her badly, not realizing that her memory was going. And so
Oh.
now he's like, "I'm a fuck up, but I'm trying to like break it big in this talent agency by latching myself on to this other idol, but I still kind of fuck up, but I'm also like consumed with all this guilt." And it's a lot of good emotionally raw character work. And then you get to the end of that ending, and realize, oh, okay, now I have to go back a little ways to see this other timeline. And another timeline deals with this character, Mizuki, who's kind of your adopted daughter and deals with that relationship really, really deeply in a way that's really sweet and emotional. So the larger story basically has to do with this new Cyclops serial killer. 6 years ago, there was a serial killer who killed young women and plucked out their left eyeball.
Oh.
The person was caught, or maybe I think they were caught, but the details of the case are classified as like a national secret. So no one knows exactly what was going on. 6 years later, when this game starts, there's a new murder, and you find this woman tied up on a carousel with her left eye missing. And that starts off a chain of event where other characters kind of in your orbit start dying in the same way. And all these characters are related. Like, you play as this detective Date. You are looking after this girl Mizuki. Mizuki's mother is the one who was murdered. And so the cast is surprisingly small, all things considered. And so that kind of makes the whole thing more personal because as you keep going, you kind of know, oh, whenever a next body is going to show up, it's going to be one of these characters that you know. And so that creates a nice tension of like, oh shit, who's going to die next? Because how the different timelines work is a character who seemed to be a major player in one timeline can be brutally murdered in the beginning of the next timeline. It's like, oh shit, well, I guess they're not going to have a role. So I like how that all plays out. And the writing, like Zero Escape, is really good and like just jumps between emotions. Like I said, dealing with Oda and his mom and dementia, like it can get really dramatic and seriously emotional. Dealing with Mizuki and her relationship with Date can be really, really sweet. And then dealing with the murders and the way different people die. At one point, a girl gets cut in half by an ice cutting machine.
Oh my god.
And it's like, oh Jesus, this is really brutally violent. And so it actually just jumps between these emotions in a way that works, you know, in a way that the heightened reality and drama of any anime show really works, where you go from like slapstick humor to, oh shit, this person just got murdered in an instant. And it's fun. Like, as long as you give it yourself into the wild ride that is the melodrama of the story, like it all works really well. And there's a lot of the voice acting is really good because there's a lot of lines that are really funny just because of how they're delivered. Like at one point, you are a lot of it takes place in this talent agency, and the receptionist of that talent agency is this really good-looking woman with big breasts and deep cleavage. And whenever you talk to her, Date, the detective, tries to flirt with her. And it's always really stupid flirting, but it always works well. And this is where I should probably mention Aiba, who, if you've been watching this video, you've seen this weird, like, tardigrade creature with an eye inside it pop up on screen and talk. That is your left eye. Because Date, 6 years ago, lost his left eye under mysterious conditions. There's a lot of eye missing in this game. And that eye was replaced with a advanced AI who's basically, it's called an AI ball, but that is shortened to Aiba. And Aiba is basically your phone, your computer, and your partner all in one. And so she can talk with Date telepathically since she's inserted into his eye socket, but also occasionally she can pop out in this little like bear-like creature and interact with the world. And her delivery is great. The banter between her and Date is great because whenever he's flirting with this receptionist, she's exasperated, like, what the fuck are you doing? You're here for an investigation. Why are you talking to her? And there's a great moment when you're trying to find someone who was kidnapped. And so you run into like your apartment because you know they're there. And you then get to interact with the environment, which is kind of like a hidden object game where you got this screen and you can click on any item in it and you get a little description of it. The characters will describe it. And so that means a lot of times Date will question like, oh, what is this? Or reminisce about an object, and the Aiba will play off of that. And so as you're looking for this person that's been kidnapped, you can look at your carpet and Date will be like, oh, is she under there? And I was like, no, we don't have a cellar. And the way that she delivers it is there's panic in her voice because they're looking for someone that's been kidnapped, but there's also just exasperation that this fucking dumbass that her head she's in is like, thinks there's a cellar under their floorboards. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And so I love the banter between them. A lot of the characters are charming and fun in their own ways. And just the little touches, I like that when it's in these visual novel sections, the character profiles on the left actually move and talk. It's not just a still picture.
Mm-hmm.
And that just adds a nice bit of emotion and animation to the scene. Beyond these visual novel sections, once you get into the gameplay puzzle parts, it all takes place in dreams. And that's where the Somnian files comes in. Is because you will encounter someone who has information, but they don't want to say what it is. So you basically hook them up to a machine and delve into their heads, a lot like Inception, or it reminded me a lot of like this old 90s Jennifer Lopez movie called The Cell, where she goes into
that's a blast from the past.
She goes into the mind of a serial killer, which is kind of what all of this is about. And the way that works is you have a timer of 6 minutes. And every action you take in the dream takes up some time. So like you might look at a clock and you can investigate the clock, you can touch the clock, you can turn back time, you could turn forward time. And each of those options has a number of seconds associated with it, anywhere from like 10 seconds to 90 seconds to 120 seconds. And so you kind of have to go through this dream using bizarre ass dream logic to get past these mental locks of the person that whose head you're in order to get to whatever answer you're looking for. And as you choose some of these options, you get items that basically will manipulate time. So if I choose one option and it takes 10 seconds, I will then get this item that's like 1/4, which means I can then cut down any time by 1/4. So a lot of the puzzle, how it works is time management, where I have these items and I'll look at something and be, okay, I can punch this ice on the floor, like in this video, I can slide across it, or I can do something else with it. One takes 120 seconds, one takes 100 seconds, but I have this item that will cut this down by 1/4. So I'm going to use that so that this 100-second action only takes 25 seconds. And so it's a lot of doing that to manage the time you have left. So it's a lot of running around the environment, interacting with different objects, trying to figure out what works. And because it's dream logic, a lot of it isn't necessarily straightforward and logical. So you do end up replaying some sections, but the game is really good about that because if at any point the timer runs out and you have to go back, you can fast forward through any action you've already done before. So you're not replaying the whole thing. Like once you start over, you know what actions work and what actions don't.
Right.
And
It's
then
process of elimination.
yeah, and then any action that does work, you fast forward through it really, really quickly. Like the game allows you to literally fast forward. And so when you replay these sections, it's not a lot of, oh, I'm doing this thing all over again, all over again, all over again. It's a lot of, oh, I'm going to do this, fast forward, and then, okay, I know that didn't work this time, so I'm going to go try over there. And it's a lot of that. And again, since you can interact with a lot of different items that don't necessarily relate to the puzzle, there's a lot of funny moments where between Date and Aiba, because in the dreams, Aiba is your avatar. And so she's the one interacting with everything, and Dante is kind of commanding her. And so he can command her to do stupid things like, oh, input fighting commands in this control panel. And she's like, what are you talking about? And if you're watching this video, it's weird because you're watching this kid fight a polar bear. And this is a lot of the Zero Escape weirdness, where that polar bear is a fucking murderer. And that polar bear, like, in the real world, attacked this person and stabbed them and maybe cut someone in half with an ice machine. And it's like, oh, this polar bear is a vicious serial killer. But it's also someone that for some reason, I don't know why, maybe they'll explain it, but probably not. They're in a polar bear costume. Why? Because fuck it. Why not?
Right.
Yeah. And then that's just a lot of the weirdness that is this game. It's like, yeah, just deal with it. It's someone in a polar bear costume. Just give yourself over to the weirdness of the moment, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm just having fun with the story. I'm really interested to see how it plays out. I like the characters. I think the mystery is really good. Very complicated. As I delve into the serial killer mystery of today versus 6 years ago, coupled with Date's mysterious past, it's like, okay, there's a lot of mysteries going on here, and each timeline you get to the end of, you unravel a little bit more. And so it does that, you know, that I'm trying to think of the right word for it. Little bits and pieces that keep you going. Was like, oh shit, I just need to play a little bit more, and I'm gonna figure something else. A little bit more, it's gonna solve a little bit more, and that addictive step-by-step process of finding the breadcrumbs that lead you to the answer.
Yeah. All right. So, any other games you played?
No, ESO.
All right. Yeah.
I will say what I finally noticed booting up ESO. I will say, this is just a stupid observation. The weirdest things about that game is when I first boot it up, I always get a notice that says recording is blocked because you've entered like a restricted scene. And it's like that all through the menus until I hit like log in and I load the character and the actual game starts. Then I get a message that says recording is resumed because you've exited the blocked scene. And it's just weird. It's weird that, you know, the PS4 recording capability, it seems like Bethesda purposely went out of their way to block it and prevent you from recording from when the game boots up to when you actually start playing.
Right.
No other games.
Oh no, a lot of other games do that.
I've never seen that message pop up for any other game.
I get that all the time.
In like I've seen that message pop up, but not for the menu screen. It's like they're protecting their menu screen for some reason.
Well, I mean, some of that's probably they want to just keep privacy for like all your characters as you're choosing one, stuff like that. And instead of like just okay, you can't broadcast, they just turn it off for everything. They just turn off the
like that
recording. Yeah, like they don't want, if you as a player stream a lot or if you're recording a lot and you don't want to show your characters, I mean, you can go through the effort of like clipping it off, but I think it's more of a streaming issue. So that they can't see, people watching can't see all of your characters, and then you could never play like on your own.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's something with multiple characters.
Well, I don't know, because your username is displayed on your character at all times. So that's not a problem. In fact, your character
AC Wraith
name
has
is
it right.
actually secondary. Is actually the second line. AC Wraith says, if your game had that poor menu system, you'd hide it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I just found it a weird thing that always pops up, and I can't figure out a rational reason why. But
'Cause that
Corey
happens a
Wallace
lot
says
with,
it's ZeniMax. It's not Bethesda that does that.
that happens a lot with like Japanese games because they have very strict copyright laws that like you can't broadcast. At least on a PlayStation level, you can't broadcast like a lot of the cutscenes. Like in Persona 5, a
But
lot
see,
of those
that makes sense. I get that. Like, okay, you want to keep the story secret. Why the opening menu? Why do you not let me record the logos of Bethesda and the Havoc engine loading up? Like,
Right. Yeah.
what's protected about those? It's stupid. Anyways, that's one thing I noticed that I don't understand.
All right. So shall we hit the news?
Yeah.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
hit the news. This is the GameHounds News, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie, Nick DiNicola, and Andrew Smith. And we got Dragons Radio. Hey, Black Dragons Radio is listening live on Spreaker. Hey. And if you want to join us live right now in our YouTube page, you are more than welcome to do that. Is under the GameHounds on YouTube. We're streaming live, so you can actually see our happy, shiny faces. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Or you can also watch us on Facebook. It is the GameHounds on Facebook. So, yeah, Black Dragons Radio is listening and enjoying the show. Good to know. So our first item is today, my first item, I will start off since I always say you guys start. My first item is that Microsoft has announced that they are going to hold a showcase next week on July 23rd. What day of the week is that? I should know this. It's the 19th today.
23rd.
The 23rd is Thursday. So next Thursday, there will be a Xbox Games Showcase. And it has been detailed a little bit in a new blog post. They're going to get a first look at Halo's Infinite's campaign during the event, as well as updates on a bunch of other already announced titles that they've had, they've mentioned in the past, and a couple of new world premieres. So as it has been through June and July, they're rolling out news about games instead of in a big, pukey, at E3. They are, like everybody else, just giving dribs and drabs all the way along and pacing themselves as far as new announcements when it comes to games. So we're going to see that. I didn't see any time and place that it's going to happen, but it is obviously going to be on Twitter or all the regular places, I'm imagining. But look for it on the 23rd. I'll probably watch it, assuming it's not, in the middle of the workday.
So I do know that they have stated explicitly that they're not going to have any price info or really any hardware specs, anything like that. They're not going to release anything about that.
Yeah, because it's games. It's a games showcase. It's not the console showcase.
Yeah. It also seems like it's continuing the chicken game that they're playing with PlayStation to see who's going to release their price first.
This pandemic has made the console releases annoying and yet somewhat interesting in that this is uncharted territory as far as how to launch a console. And all of their plans that they had of a schedule of when they can release and when they need to release because of things like E3 or, making this big plan of like, it's got to be announced at this event in June every year. It's got to happen. And it doesn't have to happen. And now it's becoming like, are we going to find out how much it's going to cost before the day of? Because they literally could, at this point, not announce a price for the consoles until they show up on the shelves.
Well, I mean,
That's
they
entirely
probably
possible. They won't. I should say.
No, because
they
they want
shouldn't.
people to pre-order.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. Yeah, exactly. They shouldn't. But I mean, generally speaking, you need, in the past, we have had far more information about what was coming up for the console at this point in the year of a console release at this time. And now that they're not
Yeah.
doing it, they're, like you said, playing a game of chicken. They're staring each other's eyes, down the long street with the tumbleweeds and the dust blowing, and it's like, which one is going to twitch? Which one is going to reach for the gun first? Because as soon as one reaches for the gun, they're both going to do it.
Just
But
so dumb,
until
because it's
either
not
one of them
like
do
they're
it, they're at
going
a
to-
stalemate.
They're not going to be that different. Like it's
No. I'm
Maybe.
a little.
it's.
I think they are. I think they are thinking very different price points.
I don't
think they
but
always
they
do.
Can't be. They can't be.
But they
Like,
can't launch that way. But I think that both of them want to charge as much as they possibly can. But
yeah,
they
but
can't.
like realistically, there's only 3 options:
Yeah.
450, 500, or 550.
Yeah.
I think you're underestimating how high that can go.
They went 600 once, and it completely backfired and blew up in their face. So
Mhm.
no one wants to do 600, even if it's realistic. No one wants to be that person. 400 is way too low, because even though that's what the consoles launched, what PS4 launched for, with the stuff now, that's way too low. So it's either, I guarantee you, 450, 500, or 550. It's only 3 options, and it's like, Jesus, guys, it's.
But
not
here's
that
what's
big of a difference.
here's what's going on behind closed doors at either or both. One or more of them is they're going, can we do 600? Because as soon
yeah.
as we launch, whoever names the first price, the other guy's going to go $50 cheaper.
And I'll actually go into that because I have some specs on the PlayStation that I just kind of want to, I guess, talk about just because there's a
Okay,
lack
sure,
of
why
news.
not? We're
Well,
talking about it.
Before that, though, I do know that they've also said that as far as exclusives go for Xbox for now, it's all going to be on PC too. It's all going to have crossplay with PC, and that's
That
a big
makes
thing
sense.
they want.
That's okay.
The only issue with that, though, is like that really hampers them as a exclusives for the console, because now
Right.
anyone can just buy that game on PC, whereas PlayStation's still going to have single-player titles. And
That's kind of a
exclusives.
bold move for them.
I mean,
too,
that's
because
that's
they've been the
what
ones
they've been
that have
doing
been
for a while.
right, but they're the ones that have been against the releasing of
PC ports.
yeah, not PC ports, but crossplay. PlayStation has been reticent about crossplay because
Yeah, no, he's talking about Microsoft.
right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Are you talking about Xbox? I'm sorry, my
Yeah,
bad. I
so-
wrote PlayStation.
Xbox has had a plan for all their games so far have come out also on PC. Typically with the Windows Store, I don't know if it always goes to Steam or not, but there's this back and forth where if you buy it on one, you get it on both. And one of the major draws to console are those exclusives, but all of those exclusives on Xbox are going to go to PC too. So that might hurt them.
But they that's what they've been
that's-
doing. Like
they're
Xbox has been
leveraging.
moving away from being associated with a box. They want to be a platform, not just a box.
Right.
They want the Xbox to be everywhere. Basically, they want ideally in the future to be an app that you download like Netflix.
Yeah,
That's what they want to transition into.
And speaking of which, that's a good point, because one of the big news things about Xbox is that they are taking away their Xbox Live subscription for a year.
Yes, actually was
And-
my next item that I was going to talk about was that they have axed the 12-month. They've already axed it, the 12-month Live Gold subscriptions. You can still buy the 1 month and the 3 month, but you can no longer buy a 12-month Xbox Live Gold subscription.
And that used to be when you bought it for a year, you would get the it would be like half off if you were buying it monthly.
Right.
Like you'd save 50%. And you can still buy a year of Xbox Live, but you have to get the Ultimate Pass, which is Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Live together. And it seems to be a push towards that.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a good article on The Verge that says Microsoft wants to launch its game streaming service, xCloud, has a free addition to Game Pass Ultimate, which
So-
means you'll get that ability to stream with xCloud, the Game Pass Ultimate, which means the PC version and the Xbox version, and Xbox Gold for $15 a month. And so without that year subscription, they basically want to be like Netflix, where here's just a monthly subscription. That is what our platform costs.
Yep.
And I agree with that, because it also, I mean, that also seems to be a business move in general for them, because into a next bit of news, they also are canceling the Xbox One X and the Series X, or Series S, or what is it? Sorry.
Yeah, they're discontinuing the production.
The Xbox One S all digital edition. So they're pulling the production on those away. And
which makes sense, because they're launching a new console.
yeah, but like it seems like they are trying to limit the offerings that they have so that people either buy the new one and they buy the Game Pass, but they can't really go back and buy other things. Like
I don't know. I think a lot of companies do this when they're launching a new one. Is right. It's like they discontinue production because we're going to launch this other one,
Right.
And we need retailers to work through the lot that they have before we give them something new.
Right. Yeah, Ryan Stevenson in the chat room is saying the value of why would you not buy a game ultimate, Game Pass, ultimate, it's the value of it is ridiculous. And that's true. But along the same lines, getting rid of all of this stuff, a lot of this complication within the Xbox gaming market has come because of adding things on and tweaking things here and tweaking things there across the years. Now they are cleaning house and streamlining, which I appreciate because it's fucking confusing. They've got Game Pass Ultimate, Game Pass Gold, or is there Game Pass? They've got Xbox Live Gold. It's at the 12-month or the 3. It's kind of a little bit of a mess. And just streamlining this all down so that they no longer have this, all right, digital only console, the not digital only console, the Series X, the Series S, it just becomes too much. That being said, is that Microsoft is drawing right now, seems to be drawing a very hard line between two styles of gaming that have yet to be defined previous. And that is, do you want a subscription-based model for games that covers all of that is a platform, like you said, covers your PC, your computer, your laptop, your gaming box of whatever kind it is, and people that want to keep their gaming box discrete and separate, which would be PlayStation. So they're drawing kind of a unique selling proposition of Xbox will be your platform. It is a bigger world than just your box. Whereas Sony, at least for right now, seems to be saying, we have a box. It plays games. If you want a box that plays games, this is your box.
And, I mean, Xbox is just the fact that Microsoft owns them. They're in a position to do that where they can kind of hook up with the PC that Sony can't.
Right. They're leveraging their strength, which is they are a PC company. They are the PC company. So they're leveraging that strength to create this platform that creates this whole definition of what gaming is that is unique to what has been done in the past. And creates a whole unique market for themselves. So that you're instead of being conceivably an either PlayStation or Xbox, because they're both competing in the same space, you could argue that they're creating a new market to be Xbox and PC and your streaming service, game streaming service, and PlayStation being a discrete box that is completely separate from it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to shut everything down. Sorry. Didn't do that.
No, I agree. I was just looking something up real quick.
Yeah. And Gamer Terrell Brian Steven is like, the games are backwards compatible. So if you own it, you're good. Why would they keep making old hardware when old software works on new hardware? Point. And Gamer Terrell is asking, do you think that the global bastard Co has killed E3 finally? I don't think if anything, the lack of E3 has pointed up the value of E3. We were talking about that earlier, that there's no longer a deadline for big announcement years like this. In any other year, this would not be as disruptive as it is. It just, COVID happened to happen in the middle of a game console release year, which happens once every 8 years or so, 6 years.
They're getting a little closer, but yeah.
Yeah, 4 to 6 years. So it's just bad luck. That's when it happened. Just that sucks. And I am now, as a consumer, missing E3 because nobody has a deadline and everybody is playing, like Andrew said, everybody's playing chicken with the details, like price, the big detail. That is the gold standard of the ultimate detail that everyone wants to know. How much is it going to cost? So there's no deadline on it. So they're going to wait until the very last minute. And it's first man who twitches, then we're going to find out the other one.
Well, in terms of E3, I think because the ESA has had a lot of problems like internally, and so I could easily see it not coming back just because that organization is kind of in a lot of inner turmoil.
Yeah.
But I imagine they will do whatever it takes to do one more E3 next year just to see what they can do. And if that doesn't work out, then we'll basically go from there. If it's not a large turnout, or if it's like there's a lot of criticisms about it, then it probably won't happen again. If it works out really well, then you'll see it going forward. But I think they will like drag their dead body across the finish line, no matter what it takes, to get an E3 out for 2021, and then we'll go from there.
Right.
I can see that.
And that also makes sense, that if you were unceremoniously interrupted for the first time of not holding an E3, now they're going to want to try and test the waters to see, are we missed? Did you miss us? And if the answer is yes, they will continue to hold E3s. If the answer is a resounding no, they'll probably never have another E3. So we'll have one more and we'll see from there.
Yeah, we'll see if it's a flop.
Yep. If nobody comes back to E3 next year, or whenever COVID is no longer a thing, then Xbox, then E3 would be done. E3 would be dead. But they're not going to go without one more just to see if anybody does come back.
Yeah. Right.
So, anybody else got another item? Because we just hit like most of everything.
Yeah, I got a one. For as much this actually, I forget where. I'll look that up later. This is coming from Matt Piscatella, his Twitter, and it's basically reporting on the sales of The Last of Us Part 2, which, regardless of any controversy about the game, it has sold a lot. A couple of the benchmarks that he's talking about seem like low bars, like it's the best-selling game of June 2020, which, okay.
It beat out GTA 5.
Or that it instantly became the third best-selling game of 2020 to date, which also, a couple big games have come out for 2020, but not a whole lot. What I think is more impressive is that he said it's the second biggest launch for a Sony-published game in history, behind only Spider-Man. So basically, other than Spider-Man, it is like their fastest-selling exclusive. So,
which is impressive for Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was like the kind of success that people dream of.
Right.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was way bigger than you and I would think. Like, that's a fun game. No, it did, Marvel movie numbers, Avengers numbers, basically.
That game was fantastic.
I thought it was fun. It's good, but that game was super successful. And so for this one to get in second place out the gate, that says a lot about its success. And so a lot of people love that super dark zombie apocalypse. Can't have enough of the post-apocalyptic stories.
Yeah. So let's see, Andrew, you got anything?
Yeah, and by the way, Edie, sorry for hitting all those at once, but they were all so closely tied that it was kind
Right. They
of
all let it. That I had them on my list. Bam, 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 right next to
yeah.
each other.
This is just a sale for anyone who has PlayStation. It's a really good one. Currently on eBay, selling from Neo Games, which are pretty reputable. They are having a sale on PlayStation Plus year subscriptions for $33, and that is a really good deal for a year of PlayStation Plus. There's a limited supply. It's you buy it. It's an online code. They send it to you within 24 hours. So if you're looking to renew your subscription, or if you just want to double up on another year, that's a really good deal. Worth getting.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a fun one.
All right.
So, kind of going off of Last of Us, when it first came out, because of all the leaks, like a lot of games, it got review bombed on Metacritic, with a bunch of people putting out negative reviews. The second it came out, it had like a 3.1 on Metacritic of people talking shit about it. Apparently, Metacritic has now responded to that because
for the first time ever, after years and years and years and years and years of people complaining about this, finally they're doing something about it, and it took Last of Us 2.
After Ghost of Tsushima came out, people going to its Metacritic page on the day of release saw a message with where the user score would be. It instead has a message that says, "Please spend some time playing the game. Come back to review it starting 12 p.m. PST on July 18th." So they were forcing users to wait about 36 hours before they could start posting reviews, which makes sense, right? A user review, you assume that person has played it. And so to post a review on a 30-hour game the second it comes out is physically impossible.
Right.
True, but there's still going to be people after that timer goes up that's like, had to wait 1 star.
Oh, sure. They will, but it's nice to see them taking some semblance of a logical step towards
finally
this.
Well, I'm not going to give Metacritic too much credit for this. This is something that has been a problem for literally decades that this has been an issue. And they have willfully ignored it because they wanted more people to show up and to, if you have a bunch of people that review bomb a good game, then you're going to have the backlash of people going back in and saying they're wrong and it normalizing. And they used that as being a way of getting hits.
Yeah. Any publicity is good publicity.
Right, exactly. Because who wins in a internet war is the platform in which that war is being held. They're the ones that are making money off of it because, of course, they're getting more and more hits and more eyes. Even though it's a little skeevy that they even let it happen. It's completely unjust, but they were profiting from it, so they didn't stop it. And I don't know what it is about this one. This time, but finally they have done the right thing. But I am not going to give them any very much credit. I'm glad that they're doing it. It needed to be done. It also needed to be done 15 years ago. But they didn't do it because it made them money. Now I'm going to call them out for that because they deserve it. They were war profiteering for all intents and purposes. And that's all it was. They were profiting off of the war over a game. So I'm not gonna.
So I'm
not gonna pat them on the head and tell them how good they are.
I'm looking between the Metacritic page for Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us, and what I find most interesting is the number of user reviews. So with Tsushima, it has a good user score. It's got about 2,000, just over 2,000 positive user reviews, about 60 mixed and about 80 negative. So overall, maybe like 2,300 reviews total, right? 2,300 user reviews total.
Right.
Last of Us Part 2, positive reviews, 31,000.
Oh my God.
Mixed reviews, 3,500. Negative reviews, 32,000.
Yeah.
So you've got 63, almost 70,000 reviews. And I imagine a lot of that is just the culture war going on, where one side drops a score, the other side review bombs it to bring it back up. But it's just, oh my God, to see the difference of like, oh yeah, we got about 3,000. Yeah, we have like 70.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what I mean about war profiteering.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the difference between a game that is getting review bombed like hardcore is by an order of 10. No, order of 100. Because there's a 3,500, 35,000. No, but or by order of 10. 10 times more people come on to give a review and to load up that web page and spend more time on that web page than for a controversial title, regardless of whether it was fair or not. And Metacritic has made money off of every single one of those. So yeah,
I'm
mean,
looking
fuck
through
Metacritic.
like I'm looking through the list of like top 10 PS4 games that's links on the right side of the page. None of them even comes close to 10,000 reviews total.
Right.
Like most of these will be lucky to get 2,000 user reviews, and just to think about that level of culture war going on to get 70,000 is insane.
Mm-hmm.
You should look up.
It's a bit like
Spider-Man.
4chan being like, oh, Nazis, white supremacists, bad. It's like, yeah, but for years you let those guys go on and keep doing it because they were using your platform so much. And then all of a sudden they were like, yeah, maybe, white supremacists are bad. I'm not going to give you credit for getting rid of the white supremacists because you let them go because they were making you money. It was only when it became an issue that you actually got rid of them. And even then you haven't really gotten rid of them. It's tacit acceptance of bad actions. And in the case of Last of Us, it is absolutely not about the game. It is about, the social topics. So it's, anyway.
Spider-Man, total user reviews on Metacritic, maybe 1,500.
Right.
Oh, damn. So not, that's huge.
No, huge. And it finally just got out of hand this time.
And Spider-Man sold more.
Yep. Yeah. Fuck Metacritic. Seriously. It's just, they're not doing the right thing for the right thing. They're doing it because this time it got so bad that they had to step in. It's like, you just can't give them credit for letting bad actions happen for years and years and years until it just got completely out of hand. And then it's like, oh, okay, guys, maybe we need to back off. So, next item. Oh, actually, since we're already calling out companies doing stupid, shitty things, might as well keep going. GameStop. Oh, my favorite GameStop. So, earlier in the week, GameStop made an announcement that they were going to require all customers to wear face masks in the United States stores effective July 27th. Good. It's a fucking pandemic. Other stores have done it. It's the right fucking thing to do, especially when you're talking about games which tend to attract younger people and children. And yeah, you want to have not only your employees wearing masks, you should be absolutely, if you're going to have your store open and it's an indoor store, you should be fucking requiring masks, period, the end. They originally said, quote, "We believe this is the right thing to do to ensure the health, safety, and well-being of our associates and customers from the growing spread of COVID-19. Providing a safe environment in our stores for all our customers and store associates continues to be a top priority, and wearing a face covering is a simple step every one of us can take to ensure the safety of others in our stores. And then 2 days later, update, GameStop will not be allowed to GameStop employees in these stores who are trying to protect themselves because they're working indoors with potentially virulent customers, they're not going to be allowed to enforce the mask policy, according to Vice Games. In an internal memo, employees were told, do not refuse service to a customer that refuses to wear a mask or face covering. Do not ask a customer to leave the store if they're not wearing a mask or face covering.
They can't afford to turn anyone away.
Right.
That's true, but also some of the stuff that's happened when people have refused people who are wearing masks has been pretty bad, and they may be trying to avoid incidents like that.
You know, what are you more afraid of? The possibility of somebody having a temper tantrum, or the possibility of putting your employees at risk working with the public who are not wearing masks?
Do you know
that is a
about
verifiable threat? That is a real, actual 100% threat to their safety and well-being.
Doesn't care about their employees.
That's
an easy answer.
Exactly. So we are going to tell the public you need to wear a mask, but if you come into our store, we're not going to deny you service. And moreover, employees are not supposed to enforce the mask. The employee cannot make the customer leave for not wearing a mask, even though the customer is presenting a threat to the health and well-being of GameStop employees. That's like saying, guns aren't allowed in our stores, but if somebody walks into the store with a gun, you can't deny them service. And you can't walk out because you'll be fired. It's the same thing.
I wouldn't.
It's the same thing.
Someone with a gun service. I wouldn't personally. Just
right. But you could absolutely say you can't come into the store without a gun. You shouldn't be having a gun in here. GameStop's employees are banned from telling customers you need to wear a mask, or I can't help you if you're not wearing a mask because you are pointing your gun at me. That's what it is. When you're walking into a store without wearing a mask, you are pointing a gun at everybody in that store. It's the equivalent. Especially for a company, I would imagine their healthcare coverage is not all that great.
Oh,
so
GameStop?
if somebody gets sick with COVID and can't work, or heaven forbid needs a lung transplant, because that is a thing, that GameStop will be like, sorry, need a lung transplant to get it here? Oh, can you prove you got it here? I'm sorry, you need to just deal with it on yourself. Carry on. I'll just have the salad. No. GameStop, God, what a shitty company that is. What a shitty, shitty company. And then to release, they could have said nothing. To release a statement to our public saying, we believe in the safety and security of our customers and our employees. And then to turn around and tell employees that you can't actually enforce it in an internal memo. Dicks.
That's probably the worst
Dicks.
part. Just don't say anything.
Just don't say anything. Yeah. Right. You can see my face is starting to get, I just cannot believe GameStop is in business at all, given the two-faced, I can't believe anybody works for GameStop.
Give it like 5 years.
Not even that. If GameStop was giving away consoles right now, I wouldn't go in there. Absolutely. And I have to question the sanity of anyone who would go into GameStop that would support that. That would go to GameStop for a game that you can literally get anywhere else for about the same price.
If they're giving away consoles, I might actually do that.
We all know what you are. We just have to find your price.
Here, you want a PS4 Pro? Just enter our store. Yes.
So that is my 20-minute rant about shitty companies that deserve to be out of business now. So
Next to Konami and
oh yeah, fuck Konami. Yeah. just dig a hole and just push GameStop and Konami into them and just cover it over and plant some flowers. Moving right along. So anybody else got anything else?
just news about PlayStation, which can be last. Like,
You should hit it.
okay, so not really necessarily news, but just kind of an idea of how good the PlayStation 5 is compared to like the PS4. And I don't know how well it stacks up to the Xbox, but I imagine they're going to be close in some ways. At least they should be. Most of the time, consoles aren't really that big of a difference in power or quality. So, from what I was seeing and what it compares to like PC parts, if they do a $500 price point, like there's always that argument that, oh, I could build a PC for an equivalent PC for the cost of a console. I'm sure everyone has heard that argument. That would be insanely hard to do with this because with the graphics processor, for instance, comparing it to a PS4, like the first one, it's about a 450% increase in power. And that's huge. And it's compared to, if you don't know computer parts, this won't mean anything to you, but an RTX 2070, which is a newer card. It's a pretty medium to high end card. And it usually retails at like $450.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the GPU. So you have the equivalent in a PlayStation already. And if it's a $500 price point, that alone is insane. The CPU in it is going to be, it's going to be good. Solid performance. Not a lot to say about it, and it's just going to be better. It's not going to be super high end, but it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that I saw, this gets talked about a lot, is the SSD that's going to be put into the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And Xbox is also going to have one, but it seems like PlayStation put a lot of resources into this because it is fast. But SSDs for a while have been pretty damn fast, and depending on what type you use, because there's like 3 different types of SSDs. You got a SATA drive, NVMe, and then M.2. M.2 is basically like if you've ever seen RAM, it's a rectangle that you just kind of put into your system. And
hopefully
that's the newest
without putting a thermal paste on it before you plug it in.
No,
we were
thankfully,
talking about that early.
thankfully you don't have to do that. And not only does it have like it's top end on its own, and their PC will come out with stuff that's kind of equivalent here, maybe even before PlayStation drops. That being said, it has a few benefits that the PC won't have. First of all, you know that with PlayStation, every system is going to have that hard drive. Mm-hmm. So one of the big issues with like PC and SSDs is Windows can get in the way. Like software becomes a problem. And PlayStation, that's no longer an issue because you'll have a uniform platform to work from. And it's also going to come with onboard decoding or decompression for the hard drive. Mm-hmm. So typically when you want to play a game, how it works is the hard drive will upload, or it'll send its information to RAM or the memory so that it can use that data quickly. Because trying to pull data as you play, as you're turning around, like in a game, trying to pull that data off the hard drive is slow, even on an SSD. With this new one, you will be able to pull just like directly off of the SSD, and that'll load up so that there's less time spent kind of going through that process of putting it into the memory and then having that saved and ready, because normally you'll have chunks like loaded around you, or at least ready to be loaded. And instead of doing that, you'll just pull directly, and the system will get exactly what it needs. This will also save on space so that it doesn't have to have the same thing preloaded like 5 different times. Like that'll have that saved on the hard drive, and you just have to pull that texture and asset once. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it has decoding on a hardware level for the hard drive, that'll also decrease CPU usage. So that can be used for later and other things in the game, rather than having to worry about what you're taking off the hard drive and kind of sorting that out. All this adds up to is essentially, if it gets used well, which it should with exclusive games primarily, because you can't really plan for that stuff on, PC games, stuff like that, you will have really solid performance and almost no loading time. Like, as a big selling point for a lot of the games they're mentioning, there should be almost no loading time whatsoever. And like no tricks of like going in an elevator or crawling through a tiny hole. It'll just be true open worldness. And that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of the specs that you're dealing with the PlayStation. So, 5 times the performance of a PS4. That's good.
Yeah.
Not to mention new things that we haven't had the chance to really use on consoles, like an SSD, stuff like that. That's all.
Yeah. I have no doubt that both the PlayStation and the Xbox Series X are going to be awesome. It all comes down to price. It's very nice to have a gold-plated a graphics card and an amazing SSD drive, but if they can't do it at a reasonable price, then I don't. It's going to be making big decisions. I will absolutely take slightly less performance and slightly fewer bells and whistles for $100 break. I just will.
Well, like I was saying, like price point wise, if you tried to build the equivalent like PC, and that's assuming you didn't take Blu-ray disc, 4K Blu-ray disc, because most PCs you don't really need the optical drive anyways, unless you have a specific use for it.
Mm-hmm.
You would be hard pressed to make like a $600-$700 computer out of this. So if they can get down to $500, that is value for that money.
Mm-hmm.
If the disk driveless one is $450, that's even better. Gamer Timrel. I'm not honestly sure how that would work. I know the hard drive.
His question is about if the extended hard drive will be able to play its PS4 games.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I think they said something like that. I think they said that you could do an extended hard drive, but it's not. You can't stream it from there. Or maybe you could stream PS4 games, not stream, but like if you put your PS4 games on an external hard drive, the PS5 could read those games off of that hard drive. But if you put a PS5 on there, it couldn't. The PS5 game has to be on the internal SSD. But a PS4 game could be on the external one. I think, don't quote me on that.
But that is worth mentioning that the hard drive space will be 850 gigabytes, like for the base release. So a little less than a terabyte.
Oh yeah.
Which terabyte SSDs can range up to like $200. So it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We're getting to a point where consoles are, they've always been computers, just with specific.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I see this. The PS5 is capable of installing and playing PS4 games from an external hard drive. So PS4 games from an external, good. I don't see anything about PS5 games, but I assume PS5 games, no. I think that has to be internal.
Which would make sense, especially if they're going to use the specs of the hard drive for the game. Like, you would need that to run those games.
Mm-hmm.
Which, we have Cyberpunk 2077 up, and that game's already going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing. We all know this. But imagine that game having literally no loading at all. Like, no matter when you went into a building, like loaded into a new area, just no actual load screen.
Yeah, I would love to see the death of the loading screen, but there's part of me that's kind of sorry because
That's where all the tips
that's
are.
that's when where all the tips are, and B,
True.
it's when I go to the bathroom. So yeah, well, it all comes down to the price, guys. It all comes down to the price.
If it was $600, I wouldn't be surprised. Like that would still be good value.
Still a big chunk of change. $600. How much is your rent?
It would be good value, but it would not be.
A
I just
month,
won't, I just
more
won't
than a
be
month's
paying the
worth
rent
of
that
rent.
month.
Yeah, exactly.
It may maybe good value for what you're getting, but the social value, it would not be. It'd be too much.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah, some of that.
Yeah, I get that. But it is going to be the equivalent when it comes out of a medium to high end computer, not like super high end or anything.
Yeah.
But there are
Remember back
diminishing.
in the old days when the 360 came out and the George Bush administration was concerned? No, it was the PlayStation 3 came out, or was it the 4? And the presidential administration I guess it was George Bush was concerned that Iran was using PlayStations because
I think that was 3.
was that 3?
Yeah, because the cell processor,
Cell
the
processor
idea was
so
that
fast.
you could wasn't the idea that you could put more of them together and it would get stronger?
Right, and then
And
they
so
could
they're
build a
like,
supercomputer using daisy-chained PlayStations.
I vaguely remember
That's
that.
And so that they were
hilarious.
trying to ban the import of, do a global ban on the import of PlayStations into Iran because they were afraid that it would turn them into a nuclear power.
No, that's not
good
real.
times, good times. Yes, it was. Oh, yes, it was.
Terrible.
Oh, yes. I'm looking that shit up right now. Go ahead and keep talking. I am going to look up that article.
We are
The
getting
internet is such a wonderful place of historical bullshit.
diminishing returns on like new technology, like new graphics card, new processors. Like we're going to
Yeah.
need. There's going to need to be some innovation. Because at this point, they're just making more cores, which is useful. But if software doesn't use the cores, it's not going to be
Yeah, right?
terribly practically
That's
useful.
one of the things I've thought of is looking at a lot of these games. It's like, yeah, those look nice. They look nicer, but like a little bit nicer. Like when I said playing Last of Us 2 for the first time, and I was walking through those forests, I realized, oh wow, I guess you can make forests look better.
Mhm.
But it's like, oh, okay, those are good looking forests.
We had just
what else are you gonna
forests,
do?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, those forests look way better, but it's like, what are you gonna do with that? And yeah, so
I mean,
yeah, that's why
what
I'm more interested in like what the services are around it. Like I want to
Yeah.
see the idea of how quickly you can stream a game from the internal hard drive. That sounds interesting. The stuff Microsoft is planning with their xCloud, that sounds interesting. I want to see the stuff
It was the PlayStation 2.
outside.
It's the PS2 that
oh,
the
okay.
military feared the
Wow.
PlayStation 2. And that Japan had to have a special permit to sell them because they were considered so powerful at the time that they did not want them imported into Iran, Iraq, and Libya at the time.
Terrible.
Because they were afraid that they would be used for missile guidance systems.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Why not?
Guidance systems typically involve, local media reports said the console and its 8 megabyte memory card have been designated as a, quote, general purpose product related to conventional weapons, unquote, because they contain components that could be used quickly to process a high quality images, a characteristic of missile guidance systems. The PlayStation 2, which includes a DVD player, will offer internet access. And will offer internet access is Sony's most profitable product. The company said it had shipped 1.4 million consoles in the month after the game's launch in March.
I mean, at a certain point, it's all electronics, right? You get down to the components and you're like, yeah, I'm going to take this component out of a PlayStation and put it into a missile. And like, if it's all computers using similar things. It's like at a certain point, yeah, I can use this power adapter for anything that needs power. I guess so. Sure. But like you could say that about literally anything. I'm sure you could use my iPhone in a missile. I'm sure some part of the iPhone can be used in a missile guidance system.
And honestly,
Something.
that that article just sounded like a really trolly PlayStation 2 ad. Like that didn't sound like a threat.
No.
That sounded like they were trying to sell you.
That's
a
the
PlayStation.
BBC News.
I know, I saw that, but it just seems like a PlayStation ad. It really does. Look how much they sold. It's amazing. They can even make be a guidance system.
I know. Yeah, in fact, out of the same article, Sony rival Sega Enterprises launched its Dreamcast games console with internet access last year. Nintendo, makers of the portable Game Boy, also has plans for a new machine, while Microsoft plans to introduce its own video game machine in late 2001.
Wow, that is a time capsule of an article.
Yes.
No.
That is
If anyone's keeping track, that's 20 years ago.
That is a completely different world.
And people were terrified. I mean, it was on the news. It was on the evening news about the PlayStation 2 might be used by Iran for missile guidance systems. They're dangerous. You can't import those. Those are a computer. There you go. If you want to lost it, enjoy the bask in the glory of how we have changed so much in 20 years. All right. So next item is I've got a couple of sales. I am bringing it up right now. First off, pardon me. Oh gosh, that was so rude. I'm sorry. PlayStation. They have a July sale right now called Games Under $15. They have a ton of stuff, tons and tons, but here's some of the best deals. Ace Combat 7 Deluxe Edition is $28.04. Let me see if I can pull this up on the stream. Amnesia Collection, normally $30, is $4.49.
That's good.
Let's see. Application window. Yeah, we'll pull up this one right here. There we go. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered is $16. Assassin's Creed Legendary Collection is $60, normally $200. Odyssey Ultimate is $30 instead of $120. Assassin's Creed Rogue Remasters is $9.89, normally $30. Unity is $9. Arkham Knight is $10. Bloodborne Complete Bundle is $17.49. Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicle Edition is $19.79, normally $60. Crash and Spyro is $60. The triple play bundle is $60, normally $100. Far Cry 4 is $6. Dark Souls 3 Deluxe, normally $85, is $21.24. Devil May Cry Deluxe, normally $50, is now $25. You can see them all on the screen right here, hopefully. But yeah, ton of good deals, especially for the super, super high-end stuff like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The Deluxe Edition is normally $70. It's on sale for $38.49. Yeah, a bunch of triple-digit cost stuff that is normally way higher and is now on sale on PlayStation in the PlayStation games called Games Under $15.
That Odyssey actually looks pretty interesting.
The Ultimate Edition?
Yeah.
For $30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also
did you like Odyssey? I can't remember, Nick.
I didn't play Odyssey.
Oh, this might be your chance.
I have it. I got it for Christmas a year ago. I just never got around to it.
Did you have ever any interest in playing those ones, Edie?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't not play them.
Okay. Sure.
Just, it never rises up to the top of the list. Like, I don't sit down and go, man, I really wish I had an Assassin's Creed game right now.
Gotta play ESO for another
Gotta play
120
ESO
hours.
for another 300 hours. Yep.
I think you'd like it just because I know that they have a lot of RPG mechanics and
Yeah.
like loot mechanics.
Oh,
Like,
I've never hated a Assassin's Creed game, and a lot of them I really, really loved. It just for some reason never comes up to the top of the list of like, oh hey, I need to pick that up.
oh yeah, because I mean, when did Assassin's Creed like start?
2007.
Okay, so
Nick
I
would
mean,
know off the top
yeah.
of his head.
Because
surprised
that
he
was
doesn't- Because you checked your tattoo, Nick. Did you check your Assassin's Creed tattoo of all the games that you've played?
I've actually thought of getting a tattoo of the assassin symbol because
That'd be cool.
I think that symbol is actually really really cool,
I know,
and
but
I'm
everybody
so
has one of those.
But I'm actually what those older games represented, what that symbol represented, I'm all for. It's basically murderous progressivism is what the assassins are. But
Good to know.
But 2007,
Excellent.
2007 was Assassin's Creed, BioShock, and Mass Effect.
Such
It
a
was a-
good year.
Yeah, that was a fucking that's why I
Such a
remember
great
it.
year.
It's like, damn, that was a good year.
The Assassin's Creed games became just that yearly release, and they were always good. But I think they just burnt out to the point where it's like you still like them, but you just don't necessarily want to go back and play them again. Like,
Yeah.
That's how I've always.
Can I
felt
say
about
that it's almost too many games? If they'd halved the amount of games, I would be far more interested in Assassin's Creed games. Just because they were at one point, they were just churning them out. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
had not played the last Assassin's Creed game, and a new one came in. I have lost track of when the most recent Assassin's Creed game is, and that says something.
And
Odyssey, I think was.
they've slowed down a lot, I think. Because
Oh yeah,
of that.
Right, and they made that mistake, and this is the mistake that I think that Disney is making with Star Wars. That they're releasing a new Star Wars movie every year?
No,
Yeah, like-
that was their ambition, and then they tripped over their own feet, and now they're like, we're not gonna put shit out for another 3 years. Deal with it. We
Yeah.
need to figure
Yeah,
out.
we all think we want a Star Wars movie every
Need to
year
figure
until
shit out.
until the reality of if you miss 1 year, then you have to like if shit happens and you don't pick that thing up and go see it ASAP, you're gonna fall behind, and then it becomes a completely daunting prospect of catching up, and you lose track. I can't tell you the most recent Star Wars movie because there's been so many of them at this point.
It's funny that you say that about a yearly movie, but a TV show that puts out a new season each year that's longer than 2 hours is consumable. You will keep up with that.
Well, yes, because they put out a new season every year or more. Well, first off,
it's
every
year. It should be a year. That is
Right.
the standard. Anything longer
I did
is
the
like,
same
what
thing
are you
with.
taking
I have
for?
done the same thing with Doctor Who, where I followed it for a few years, and then I got just things happened in my life. I didn't watch a season of Doctor Who. Now I'm 3 seasons behind, and it's like I'm just not even going to bother. People that fall behind don't pick it back up again. It's the reason why everybody watched every episode of Game of Thrones when it came out, because for 3 years we sat and waited for that episode to come out. There was no oh, I'm going to put it away. It's like if you've been waiting that long, you will watch it day one. Whereas if you're putting it out
a
every
year.
year, it's like, there's another one next year. It's like
Yeah,
an
that's what
iPhone.
happened
It's
with
like
Game
an
of
iPhone.
Thrones.
When you put out a new iPhone every year, I am going to miss a couple of iterations of this phone.
I don't think the Game of Thrones metaphor worked.
Probably not.
I think a lot of this is a bit off rails at this point.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. So my next item is Xbox games on sale because I'm an equal opportunity pimper. Xbox is also holding a sale. It is called. Does it have a name? It really doesn't have a name. But they
Nice
are also
article.
holding a similar. I mean, this is just my notes. This is how I keep my notes. But these are all the games on sale on Xbox One right now that include all of the Assassin's Creeds, just like the other ones. In fact, I think they're about the same price. But some of the other ones that are on as Control is now $30 instead of being $60.
Most of the Final Fantasies, most of the Resident Evils.
Right. Monster Hunter Iceborne is $24, and Monster Hunter World Iceborne Master is $36, which is a really, really good deal.
get it if you guys want a fun game that's going to last a long time. That's a good one.
I've
I
already
recommend
got
it.
one of those. Thanks. All of Far Cry's. I mean, Far Cry 5, $9 instead of $60. That's well worth it. So yeah, a good bunch of games that are just as good as the other ones. So check it out. Also a couple of them that seem very interesting, like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I have never heard of this game, but I'm curious just because of the name.
It's a Castlevania from the guy that made Castlevania.
Oh, okay. All right. Dragon's Dogma. Why do I know that?
Was like, who made it? I think that was Capcom's attempt at a Souls-like game, but it was very different.
Right.
Okay, so I've played Dragon's Dogma, and it is a badass game.
Oh, really?
But I wouldn't. It's good, but not necessarily in the ways you think. Like, the story is kind of meh. It's weirdly paced, but like the gameplay is so much fun, and it's so weird, and there's like a lot of layers to it that it is a good game, but not for the reasons that make games good.
It's a cult favorite. Like, the people that love it, and then other people are like, I don't want to play this. This is boring.
Yeah. AC Wraith says, if you miss 1 year, how about when essential crew members leave and then the movie gets made without them? I have no idea what he's talking about.
Okay, so the way I describe it, because I'm still trying to figure a good way to describe it, it is like an average B or A game, but that's really badass.
Oh.
Dragon's Dogma. Like,
okay.
It is a badass game that's kind of mediocre, which is weird, but yeah.
I've played games like that. Yeah.
AC Wraith points out that Bloodstained is not Castlevania proper. It was... Shut up, Siri. She keeps firing off whenever I'm doing the show. It's not Castlevania proper. Bloodstained is a separate Kickstarted franchise from important former Castlevania developers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the guy, the lead designer, started on Kickstarter.
And Forget Your Life and AC Wraith have both admitted that neither have watched Game of Thrones.
You're not missing much.
Oh, what?
Listen, game
Canceled.
Oh,
Go backstage.
That's
Go
oppression
backstage and watch Game of
free
Thrones.
speech.
I just booted him from the audio from the video feed. You're a bad host. See, I've relegated you to the bottom of the screen now.
I'm okay with this. I have more space. No, listen, Game of Thrones started out well, and the way it ended was so poorly done that everyone forgot about it, like, within the next year. Like, it's never referenced.
It went from being a series that was based on books that were incredibly well written, because books always do a better job since they are made slower than movies.
That's not true.
You're right. It's not true. But generally speaking, that series, the books were beautifully written, and like, there were no plot holes. It was all fleshed out in a book in a way that a script cannot flesh things out.
Also, it's not finished yet, so give them a chance to drop the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now they have to stick to whatever the books were going to do, which is kind of pissed. We're never going to see the books, which is a shame, because those books were fan-freaking-tastic.
You might get out one
just
more.
Given up.
AC Ray says Western studios can't finish science fiction or fantasy stories. There's never a point in watching them. Name one that actually ended well.
Can I count movies? Movie franchises?
Only
because the Lord of the Rings trilogy is better than the books. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is a highlight of franchise filmmaking.
But then they made The Hobbit.
We don't count The Hobbit. I said the Lord of the Rings. Did I say The Hobbit? No, I did not say The Hobbit. I said Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Nick, you are so precious.
Okay,
Hobbit-
then if we
Yeah,
can
no.
not count stuff, I'm gonna go with Stargate SG-1, and just
Yes.
the last 2 seasons didn't happen.
Right. Agreed.
Sure.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Oh, I was so in love with that series, and then it so jumped
I've
the
seen
shark.
I've seen that series 4 times up until the last season, season 8. There's nothing after that.
Yeah, actually, I would say after season 6, there's kind of nothing after that.
I don't know. Season 8 ended fantastically. It brought everything to an end,
Yeah.
like a good one.
Yeah. AC Ray says, I learned from the X-Files, never again. Yeah. So, anything else, gentlemen, before we close out the show?
I guess one more amendum to that last conversation. Firefly. That ended well.
Oh, fuck you.
No, actually, the last episode of that was like a good.
The movie.
ending.
The
Anyways.
movie.
Oh yeah, the movie too.
Yeah, the movie. What do you mean the last episode of that? The last episode of
No,
that
the last episode
started a major story arcs.
No, the last episode of that story, the last episode of that first season is like kind of a standalone story where at the end of it, Nathan Fillion kind of has this renewed motivation to protect the girl that's on his ship. And it's basically like, it ends like a season finale where it's like, okay, you're with me. Okay, yes, I have a renewed interest in protecting you. And then they go on to have further adventures. And it's like, yeah, okay,
Right,
sure.
but the last episode, the whole thing ended with the ship being boarded and a whole new story arc was about to
Did it?
start.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. In fact, I believe there was one whole episode that was the next thing. And you're thinking about the episode right before the last episode.
The last episodes where
think
the
so.
assassin or the
The
bounty
assassin,
hunter.
the bounty hunter, is
Yeah, on
outside
the
the
ship.
ship.
Yeah, and then they deal with that. And then,
They didn't deal with it.
They
He's
didn't.
on the
Yeah,
ship.
They dealt with it because
yeah, no, they deal with it. That story ends.
yeah.
It's a fine ending for the show because it's basically like, oh, the series ended, but they go on to have further adventures, blah blah blah. And it's like,
'Cause,
okay, I can accept that
maybe-
ending.
You know, I'm gonna have
The-
to go back and look. I recall it being like literally that a show ends on a cliffhanger, and you're like, "What?" And then I remember watching with Kevin, and he's like, "Okay, load up the next episode." It's like I can't. That's it. That's the last episode. And he's like, "What the?" Like
Because
he
she
was.
sneaks onto his like
Think
ship
so.
and starts like acting like a disembodied voice, and basically gets him to leave the ship because he starts to spook. She starts to spook him,
Right.
and he leaves the ship, and they fly off. Because he's basically like, "Nah, I don't want any of this shit. I'm out."
You remember it way more than I do, that's for sure.
Because I watched it
Way more
like
of the
6 months
specifics.
ago.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, anything else? All right. So, let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 554. We recorded this on Sunday, July 19th, 2020. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Nick DiNicola. Nick DiNicola and Andrew Smith. Ways to get a hold of us, gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. That's Speaker with an R, Spreaker.com. That is the audio feed. You can join us in the audio feed like Black Dragon Studio did. Thank you so much. Or if you ever like to watch us live, doing it with our happy, shiny faces facing you and flipping each other off, feel free to join us on our YouTube page. It is a live feed. It is GameHounds Vids, VIDS is our GameHounds channel. Check it out. If you are watching or if you ever visit it, go ahead and hit the subscribe, hit the like, and definitely hit the notification bell so that you'll know when we go live. Also, we do this on Facebook. It is The GameHounds on Facebook. That is our Facebook page that is lovingly curated by our very own piss boy, Steve M. Hawk Ortegon, with all the news throughout the week, more than what we talk about here. Thank you so much for doing that. And in addition, any link of anything that we talked about, no matter what it was, no matter how ancillary it was, there is a link for everything, all the articles, everything. That is provided by AC Wraith, our link bitch. in the comment section of YouTube, in the comment section on Facebook, and in the comment section on Spreaker. Thank you so much for doing that, AC Wraith. If you listen to us after the fact, you can do that on iTunes. You can do that on iHeartRadio or a number of other methods. But however you do it, if there is a way for you to leave feedback, especially on iTunes, please do so. We appreciate it. It helps other people find us, especially some of our old listeners who may not realize that we are still going. Please leave us feedback on iTunes. Don't forget our Patreon. We do have a Patreon. We only ask for $1 a month. No obligation, but it does help pay for this stream and this video feed. So check it out at gamehounds.com, or sorry, at patreon.com/gamehounds. Check us out there. Have a great week, everyone. Be safe. Wear your goddamn mask, idiot. Sorry. Wear your goddamn mask. Wash your hands. Be kind to each other. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. The audio is out. YouTube is still going. And play ESO. Fuck you, Corey. See, this is why I don't want to do Warframe.
You missed it, but someone recommended doing a 24-hour Warframe stream, and I agree. I think it was bitter. Yes.
No. Here's what I will do. I will make you a promise. Right now, this platform that we use for the video feed called StreamYard. StreamYard allows us to stream on YouTube and allows us to stream on Facebook. It does not allow streaming on Twitch. I would very, very much want to stream on Twitch. That is the perfect platform for this show. A freaking 2.5 hour, 3 hour show once a week. Twitch is where we need to be.
Okay.
But we can't get there using StreamYard and other platforms. First off, don't want to switch out of this platform. It's a good platform, but it's not great. It's missing that one feature, and they have talked a lot about how they want to add features. They've been incredibly responsive to people. So I am pestering them to add Twitch feeds. If they add Twitch to StreamYard so that we can actually simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, we will do on this feed a 24-hour Warframe feed of us playing Warframe for 24 hours.
We?
No, yeah, you're joining.
Us?
All of
Yeah,
us.
no.
You
joining.
don't have to do it the whole 24 hours.
No.
But I will do it with me and Andrew together,
Oh, shit.
and maybe other people.
Yeah, see, it's like, oh shit, no, wait. I volunteered you, not me.
First of all, AC Wraith, I do have a PC. Second, Edie, do you use a capture card?
No.
Okay, I will be right back. Talk some money yourselves.
Okay, it's like he's
Oh wow!
Be right
He
back.
Shut us the
he
fuck
meant-
down.
right back.
Wow, we
He's
have been
he's
blocked.
He's
This
gonna
is a talk to the hand moment.
he's
from
gonna
him.
pimp something like you were pimping chat box.
No, Charmast. It's a
Charmast.
terrible name. Charmast. Get a Charmast. Get a Charmast. Look at that. Look at that LED screen. It's a fabulous thing. Look at that. Sorry.
Yeah,
My
for $40,
favorite thing.
like that's not bad.
No, it's not. For $40 to be and have
Yeah,
it literally
Charmander.
in your bag and yes, Charmander. Have it in your bag and just be able to charge your phone something like 10 or 12 times out of this wherever you are, like fully charge it from zero. All right, Andrew.
Okay, so have you ever looked into capture cards?
Because
Okay,
I don't
so-
have a PC.
Well, you can use your laptop.
Okay. I
So
wouldn't want to play a game on my laptop, but okay.
you don't play the game on the laptop. You just stream from your laptop, and you can, with some setup, stream what your PlayStation's playing through your laptop.
Oh, I guess I could do that. Yeah.
Okay, so most capture cards range around the $100 like
Mhm.
mark or higher. This is a capture card that came out. It's from China.
What's it called? I think I've looked into this one.
Just HDMI video capture card. Like
Okay.
it is generic, but this can do 1080p 30 frames or 720 for 60 frames, and this is $7.
Oh my God, that's a great
Yeah.
deal.
It has some issues, like obviously it doesn't have all the higher end stuff, but just if you want to stream a game from like your PlayStation, that's all this. That's all
Why
you
wouldn't
require.
you just
this.
use your streaming capability on your PlayStation?
Well, you're limited by the fact that like, with that, whenever you go into like menus or something like that, it does the whole blue screen, and that's just kind of annoying in general.
Okay.
But also, streaming on your PlayStation takes up resources that if you're not having your PlayStation deal with that, your games are going to run slightly better. Like
Okay.
you don't have to worry about that. And then you can stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Netflix all at once from your computer instead of just one of them from your PS4.
So how does that work? Do you plug something into the capture card from the PlayStation?
Yeah. So you plug this into your computer with the
Okay.
USB. This is USB 2. And then it has an HDMI port. Now you put a splitter in this and you put it into your computer or whatever. And one into your PlayStation. And then I forget how to do this. You'll basically have a preview up on your computer of what you're streaming, but you're going to basically be plugging this into your PlayStation, and that should take care of it.
So you plug the capture card into your computer, into your PlayStation.
You plug that into your computer, and then you
Okay,
hook this
and
up
then
with
the HDMI splitter. One goes
That's
to
one goes to your PlayStation, and then one goes to your TV. So
Okay.
that way you can play your PlayStation on your TV rather than the preview that's getting put through this. You don't want to do that because that has a latency issue.
And then does that come with software that you can use to edit that thing, or do you have to get the software? Is that
There's something called OBS, which is a open source software that
Okay.
handles streaming. Most streamers use it.
Mhm.
Okay.
You just download that and you use it for that. And yeah, like I said, the biggest selling point for this is that it's $7.
Yeah,
Good point.
for
Yeah,
that.
the streamers use overlays, which is
Like,
a big thing.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot exactly how you do it, but with one HDMI cord, you'd basically be plugging your PlayStation into this and then through your computer onto a monitor, which you don't want to do because then, again, you'll have like half a second of delay.
Mhm.
So imagine trying to play a game with half a second of delay. So that way you can plug it into this, and that'll output on the computer, but then you have a splitter that puts it towards the computer as well, or the TV or monitor, whatever you're using.
Right. So you put the splitter in. One end of that splitter is going to the
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
And then one goes into the TV, one goes into your computer.
Right.
Or, well, the capture card, but yeah.
okay.
So, yeah,
it's
if you
funny,
ever want
I see various things on Amazon that look that exact same, and they're all from different manufacturers.
Put that
Okay, I'm
right
getting-
up to the camera on your thing so I can see what it looks like and we could read exactly. No, not that thing.
I've got a
The
Go
box.
Go Dan audio video.
Literally the same thing.
Other
like,
people.
like, there's no brand. So,
Yeah.
Does
Well,
it
I'm
even
seeing-
say it in the fine print on the bottom?
I'm seeing a bunch of different
no.
brands.
So what happened was, it's Chinese made. They
course.
developed it, and
And it's phoning back everything that you're saying right now because it's got a microphone in it.
I don't
It's
think
recording
it's that
everything
advanced.
you're saying and sending it back to the motherland.
Thankfully, it can't put out Wi-Fi or any signals like that. Anyways, they developed this and they were selling it for like $30, and then it got popular. But since they don't really have strong copyright laws over there, suddenly everyone picks it up and they make their own, which drives up supply, basically it lowers
I
price.
can't
Chinese
find one-
manufacturing destroying the market. Yeah,
I can't find
we're
one on
familiar with that in
Amazon.
drones.
This is
for
like
under 20.
okay, so it may be 20. Like it's going to jump around a lot because it's pretty popular right now.
Mhm.
But still, for $20, when the next up is basically 150,
Yeah.
that's pretty good for a capture card. And like I said, you can do this from your laptop because you're not looking for like high-end performance from your streaming, whatever you're streaming on, because you're
The
not.
performance is on the PlayStation.
Yeah, and well, I mean, like streamers, like professional ones, they'll
Mhm.
get like a full-end, high-end gaming PC to stream because they need that reliability. But since you're just streaming for fun when you want to,
Right.
this would be a good option, and you can do that from your laptop.
Yeah, but if we do that, if Twitch comes on, and here's your moment, guys. StreamYard has a Twitter account. StreamYard actually reads it, responds to it, both Twitter and Facebook. You can go on there and say, "Hey, get Twitch. We want Twitch," because Edie will put that. Oh, back up.
Oh, that's
It's a
terrible.
little
It's
blurry.
terrible. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
blurry.
it won't autofocus, but
Ah,
I can give you a part number to put in. I
Yeah.
think.
sure. Why? Yeah. Why not?
I'll just look it up real quick, see if
I
that's
have to go to the
right.
bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Let you guys continue on with this incredibly boring show.
Hey, ouch. It's true. I have nothing. Yeah, I don't know. It's super generic, but like if you're looking for a cheap streaming option, I think
Yeah,
it's probably
just
the
to
best.
be able to do it.
Uh,
To try it out to see how much it works and how much you might want to commit to it.
Yeah,
Something that doesn't require you to commit hundreds of dollars to something unknown, but to be like, hey, I want to play around with this idea.
mhm.
Here's $20, which seems that's a
Good. I
entry
mean,
price.
like I said, like most people don't watch streams and stuff at like full frames, anyways. Like you're
Mhm.
typically watching at like 30. So if you want to do the full HD, you can. Or if you want to bump it up to 60 frames, you can do that too,
Yeah.
which would be cool. But yeah, I don't know. It seemed like a good way that we could get around the whole StreamYards thing if Edie
Yeah,
tried it
it's
out.
interesting. I've added that to my Amazon wish list, and I'll keep an eye on that. Whenever that list gets long enough, I'll be like, okay, I'll buy a couple things from it.
Because even if it doesn't end up working, like you're out $20 for something like this. I mean, that's not. I don't think that's terrible.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's a good a good price that is like, yeah, excuse me, I'll try anything.
Mm-hmm. That being said, you realize we're kind of trapped till Edie gets back. Like we can no longer leave the podcast until she returns.
Yeah. Oh, we could leave. We could just leave right now and have it come back to a blank screen.
Oh, that'd be kind of mean though.
It could be. Maybe I'll just walk away. I'll keep the camera going, but I'm just take off the headphones, walk away.
We just all leave, just dead air.
Yeah. But as Plus says, the after show is the best part. Will make you regret those words.
We're aiming for that 3-hour mark again.
Exactly. With the last 15, 20 minutes, just dead air. Nothing. Someone left the recorder on and then forgot.
Oh man. Oh, I can share my screen. I can just go and like share memes for like the next till Edie gets back.
Can we just share our screen automatically? I thought we had to she had
Get
to
permission.
yeah, approve it or something, or like hit the OK.
I'm not sure. I have 2 monitors, so let's test the. Oh no, never mind. We're fine. Shh, everyone. Shh.
Shh, shh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Hi.
What?
I can pull this over right now if I hear any shenanigans going on in the back seat, gentlemen.
I don't know. I think you're 43 minutes late.
All right. So yeah. I guess we already talked about Warframe. Already talked about StreamYard. Have a great week, everybody.
Hold on, I gotta try one thing. Oh no, that's my might not work.
You want this to go 3 hours, don't you?
No, I promise not. But I am trying to see if I can't. I was
What?
trying to screen share. Like,
Oh yeah, you can.
But I think you need to like okay it
No, I
as the
don't.
We're just-
host.
No.
Oh no,
it
You can
blocked
screen
it for
share.
whatever reason.
it what?
Yeah, it blocked it.
Oh,
Your
that's
browser has
weird.
blocked your screen.
Oh, your browser.
Oh, wait. Is that
That
this
seems
one?
like a browser thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
here.
there's no. I mean, Nick, you can do it, right? You can screen share.
I think so.
Yeah, just go down to the bottom to screen share.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's something on my end that just blocks the is blocking the connection, that's all. Oh, okay, here it is.
Computer.
Allow temporarily. I basically have to allow it, so we're gonna see if we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. It's fine. It won't accept the fact that
Oh yeah,
blocks
I just got like a heads up that says Chrome has a bug that can cause screen sharing to crash on Windows 10. It's rare, but if it happens, use Firefox.
I do use Firefox anyways, so it's
That's
just
kind of odd.
good.
Yeah. I mean, my screen share, I just am given a choice of my entire screen, my application window, or my Chrome tab.
Yeah, I can do that.
There
Yeah,
we
and
go.
Is it?
like my permissions are not allowing it, and I'm just having trouble.
So what happens? Oh yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, it comes
Oh, there we
up.
go.
There we are.
There.
Aw.
Oh, who's that?
That's just a baby dog drinking some water very tiredly.
You gotta sleep and you gotta drink.
Yes, there we go. I just wanted to make it work.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah,
Okay.
good time
Have
to
a good
wind
night.
down.
Good times. Good
Yep.
times. Thanks everybody in the chat room, and I'll talk to you next week. And don't forget, let StreamYard know we want Twitch. We want Twitch. We want Twitch. Nothing personal, YouTube. Please don't cancel my channel.
I don't think they're listening.
Yeah, and if they do, welcome. Talk to y'all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.